Oh, crud. Wheel. Righty. Well, welcome. Hey, Amy, I'm so glad you're joining me. Hello. So, everybody, hi, welcome. It is Friday night. So, tonight is our Friday. I know we haven't had one in a while. And so, there's been a lot that's been going on. And we've had, we've kind of stepped back from Gypsy Rose a little bit as we continue to finish our book that is coming out on the 26th. And then we will have 2 more books and a documentary series that we're working on. So while we're doing so, we just don't feel that we have a whole lot more to say publicly on the subject. Now, there have been some developments. There is now a baby involved, and it's concerning for all of us. And it's some things that we feel that, yes, we need to educate you guys on. So Amy and I are working on putting together that in a recorded live for you guys, where we can show you exhibits and explanations and give you a real understanding of what this could or could not mean for Gypsy and the baby, it health wise, definitely. And then, we'll give our thoughts on other things about that. But to be honest, guys, I really feel like this portion of our journey with this story is coming to a close. We've done what we said we were going to do. We have exposed the truth. We have we have put out the answers that people wanted out there, and we have grown through all of that. And I'm really excited about this book. Amy has been editing it for us. She can say some things that she has to say, but I did want to explain. Yes, Colleen has left the GWN. She is left on good terms. We are still very good friends. It is just time for her in her life to move forward. She has been with us for 6 to 8 years. I don't remember exactly when she came on. I know I started this journey 8 years ago with the story, and somewhere in the middle of that, between 6 and 8 years, Colleen came aboard as one of our nurses. And she has completed her job. She was able to analyze the records. She was able to tell you what are in them. And she gave some great insight into that. And she will be helping, with the new team that is going to take us into the documentary and the other books to make sure that it is accurately portrayed and that we tell a truthful story. Now, is Colleen on the book? She is in the book. She wrote reflections for the book for each chapter. She wrote her farewell for the chapter for the book, but no, she is not on the book. She asked me not to include her due to all of the, extreme scrutiny that she has been put under by just nonsense. And I am going to honor that because I do value our friendship and I don't want her to have any more problems because of this. And she never should have. That's the thing. She never should have. And she has done no things wrong. She has acted ethically and with professionalism the entire time. There are things that she got wrong in the book. There are things that she is not happy that she said regarding medical and non-medical things. We all are. I feel the same way. There are terrible things that I said about Nicholas. There are terrible things that I said about Dee Dee. And it's all based on one lie, just one. The lie that made us really not, we began understanding that things were wrong long before we ever broke away from the Blanchards. What was the thing that really got it to us where we, where my switch has really happened is because we put out that podcast with what we thought was completely accurate and complete information, and we really thought we were done. Like that was it, we were done. But then when other things came to light, our opinions have since changed, and my opinions on Dee Dee have changed, my opinions on Nicholas have changed, and in through the book I feel like this is a truthful journey in a quest for truth. And so I feel like our reflections and this book, the transcripts of the podcast, yes, the podcast is down right now. We will be putting it back up eventually with editing. We want to edit it and we want to make it a much better product than what we put out back then. Okay, because yes, we were inaccurate, and we were part of the narrative that was told inaccurately to the public, and we want to make sure that you guys know that that's not who we are. We, other documentarians have said nothing. They know the truth. They can see what's happening. They know that there are these medical files are real. They know that Gypsy has now admitted to these things, and they are choosing to willfully continue on with a narrative that they all know is false. All of them know it's false, and they're continuing to do so, and we just won't do that. We won't. If I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. If I made a mistake, I'll say I made a mistake, because I'm not perfect. I'm not infallible. I am a human, and I can make errors and I can see things wrong too. But we've always tried to present a truthful journey for you guys. And that's it. What mistake did you make? I crucified Nick. I crucified Dee Dee. I villainized them just as Gypsy wanted me to, and how they made me think about them without doing my due diligence of accurately investigating all of the lies. I chose to believe certain ones because I wanted to. And that's it. That's what happened. I chose to believe certain things because I wanted to. I chose to ignore red flags because I wanted to, because I wanted the story to be truthful.
Right.
I wanted her story to be real. I wanted to believe the lies. And I think that's what most people want to do. Nobody wants to believe that this happened the way it happened. You guys can't fathom what happened on either side, and all I've ever wanted to do was give you the truthful reflection of this case. What really happened? How did we really get here? And I think that speaks more volumes about what we're about and what others are about, because, not taking any responsibility for any of this, not being humble coming out of prison, not recognizing, yes, I've got these medical problems and I didn't know it. And, she needs to face her own demons, and she hasn't. And that's pretty big. Mac, you still here? Oh, I lost Mac. So tonight, though, what she came in your live today. Oh, well, she likes to do that. It's okay. This has been a learning process for all of us. For me, the thing that I had to come to a realization of is that I allowed subjects in a case to be too close to me, and it clouded my judgment. And so I have to live with that, and I have to learn from that. And so I don't see any of this as a bad experience. Over the last 8 years, there have been horrible things that have happened to me. There have been merciless stalking and bullying and harassing and all of these things to me, my colleagues, my friends, my family. But the thing is that I have always just wanted to be sure that the truth was told. So I learned lessons along that way. And I feel like as long as we learned lessons along the way, then we got the message we were supposed to receive.
Right.
So, okay. I think I've addressed all the things I wanted to address. Next week, I do want to start diving into this Haley and Aubrey story of the young lady who took her life, the 13-year-old girl who took her life due to bullying, and how the bullies have continued to, basically bully her mom into being able to tell her story. These are the stories that are important. These are the stories that I want us to be talking about. We have done what we needed to do at Gypsy, and we'll continue to put out our content about that when we feel we need to. When we're done, I know she's back on TikTok. There was a judgment made in her favor this week, which meant that she can continue to share her story, that they cannot take all of her social medias like they tried. This is really a big case, and I really want to be talking about it because I think it's going to set a big precedent. Because it's a very important issue. It's a very important issue. And I think that it's very relevant to what is happening in the world right now with social media and these types of cases, especially in the true crime world. I think that the true crime world has changed. And I'm not sure it's for the better, but we're trying to bring the better. The truthful story, the honest stories, the good, the bad, the ugly, no matter what it is. So anyway, guys, what I'm going to do for you tonight, though, is I am going to play the Tasha K interview that I did with Unwine with Tasha K. They flew me into Fort Lauderdale. They put us up in a very nice hotel. They provided a car for us and provided meals for me and my husband for the 2 days that we were there. And it was nice. It was wonderful. Then I went into the studio and we recorded just a little over an hour, and no editing was done. I think that it's an amazing interview. I feel like it's one of my better interviews. So
it was a great interview.
Thank you. Alrighty, guys. So with no further ado, let's get this rolling here. And I'm sorry, TikTok, you won't be able to see it as well as, others, but at least you'll be able to see it here instead of having to pay $12 for one interview. I just felt like my audience needed to see it as well, and I wanted to put it out here on my channel. So if you guys want to see it after this, you're able to go to any of our other social media platforms and find it. YouTube, Rumble, and Twitch will have it up for you guys. And I do hope that Tasha does not get mad at me for sharing this, because I really like her and I think she's a wonderful, wonderful human being. She was really, really accommodating.
Even in the interview or sharing it, so you might as well. It's
right. Exactly. And I thank her for giving me this platform and this opportunity to come and share some of this. I wished we could talk more, but she said that, she's definitely going to have me back because she wants to know more about this story. So here we go. This is my interview that was done this last week with Tasha K.
So you went from actually being for Gypsy.
Very.
In the beginning.
Yeah, very much.
That's how you got all the information. And then as you were developing this series, docuseries, all of this, when you started to uncover more, you was like, well, we're not dealing with a victim. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
You're dealing with someone who was totally competent of doing.
Well, in the history of ever, Tasha, when have we ever listened to what a murderer says about their victim? No murderer has ever come out and been like, yep, I did it and they were awful and I hated them and that's why I did it. Nobody comes up and says that. Like, the person, what do they say? I didn't do it. There's no way I didn't do that. Nobody, there's not a serial killer, a murderer alive that's just like, yep, it was me, totally me. You know, that's just it. No.
And it looks, you can see, it looks like water a little bit from the color because it's so pure.
Yeah.
But then you're drinking the sweet red wine, which I like to call the sangria of the wines. All we need is some fruit. But Fancy, I don't want to mess up your last name. Maselli.
Yeah, kind of like Who's the Boss? Tony Danza plays the Maselli. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
cheers.
right.
Welcome to the wine. Don't leave me hanging. Cheers. Okay,
cheers.
welcome. I'm glad, like I said, I was just telling you before we started because we're recording.
Okay.
I'm glad that you accepted the podcast.
Yeah, you know, I've been looking for a different way to kind of branch out with other newer creators, you know, creators that maybe have a little bit bigger following than we've established because we took a lot of time off.
Yeah.
We weren't really building our social media. We were actually building a full network, like kind of like what Daily Wire has done and like the Unsubscribed podcast guys have done.
Mm-hmm.
We went out, we found content creators, you know, and do all these different things too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do a lot of the true crime content at night, but I kind of based our platform off of what HLN does, where they have like, you know, regular daytime content for women. And I wanted it to be like content that was thought-provoking or inspiring or encouraging, and then do our true crime content, you know, at night.
I think that's really dope. Like, I know Jasmine, my show producer here, she loves true crime stuff. I know the viewers do. Yeah. I'm just scary as fuck. I swear to God, like ghosts, dead people, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I don't even watch it at night. I'm the type of person, I leave all the lights on in the house. Like, don't turn the lights off. That, like I told you, that Jeffrey Dahmer Jeffrey Dahmer show on Netflix. I had bad dreams for 3 days after watching that. Yeah, so like the way my spirit takes it, so I commend you guys that really go out there and like really do this, because you have to deal with a lot of people who have done things in their lives, you know, like the person we're here to talk about and what you do too.
Right.
And so, like I said, I commend you. I'm not here to, you know, choose a side or attack you. I've been in your shoes. You know what I'm saying? I know you're currently being sued right now.
Well, it was dismissed.
It was cheers to that then.
Yes,
I
it was
told
dismissed.
my winos, I said, see, here's the thing. I ain't got enough white friends. And, you know, all my friends was black. They was like, fight. And I lost. You know what I'm saying? But for you, how did you get yours? Because Gypsy, okay, let me back up just a little bit, because we already into it because we're over here. Gypsy Rose Blanchard ended up filing a lawsuit against you. Yes, okay. The allegations are kind of up in question because, like I said, TMZ, they don't always post the full story.
No, they don't. They post the sold story.
I know, like they said, I threatened to shoot a process server in the head. They wrote that. I said, y'all really. And so, you know, she has lived a very, very, I would like to say, from my understanding, from the movies that I watch, from the things that I've seen via social media or on TV, you know, she looked like she was a little girl that was taken advantage of by her mother. Like her mother was really sick in the head. And so they took hypochondria to a whole nother level and made money off of it. So basically, Gypsy was staged as a cancer patient, going through all of these things, and they were raising all of this money to help this little girl to save her life. And her mother subjected her to, I would say, like kidnapping, you know, not letting her go anywhere, not letting her date, not letting her, you know, live a normal life. And then when she finally tasted what a real life was, she didn't want to, you know, I guess stay in the house with her mom. One thing led to another. She ended up, her and her boyfriend at the time, killing her mother. She did go to jail.
Yep.
She ended up getting out of jail. Okay. She's been all over the blog since she's been out because she had a husband. I was like,
girl can't keep her mouth shut for nothing. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Like somebody needs to be telling her, hey, can you please not say this today? Because it's not a good look. I'm sorry. No one is helping this girl.
I knew I liked you, Fancy.
That's the thing. Like,
you with the shit.
You know, I came onto this project 8 years ago.
8 years ago.
On a fluke. Yeah. 8 years ago on a fluke. It came across my Facebook feed. Mommy Dead and Dearest hadn't even come out yet. I didn't even know what Facebook groups really were at that time. Like, I didn't realize how they were this big thing. I wasn't a social media person really at that time. And so I kind of just, it fell in my lap. I ended up in one of the biggest Gypsy Rose Blanchard Facebook groups that there was. It was probably over like 100,000 people at one point in time. And I reached out to Christy because there were women that were just trashing her. And I didn't know what was going on. Because I came in 2 years late. Okay. So when in 2017,
was this after the movie came out?
No. See, okay. So 2015 and 2016 and 2017, they filmed Mommy Dead and Dearest. Okay. That was the very first documentary that came out. As soon as she got arrested, they were already filming. Like immediately.
What?
Christy got that deal almost immediately.
Damn.
And Christy is who actually floated out into the media that this was a Munchausen by proxy case. It is not.
Break that down.
So Chris, it's hard to break it down. It's like there's so many layers to it. But here's the thing.
Could we shorten it up? And basically you're saying like, you know, she was a victim, but she wasn't a victim.
Well, this is the thing. Okay. So for all these years, we've been told this story of just massive abuse. She didn't need any of the things that were done to her. She has no long lasting effects, all of that. Correct?
Right.
That's a lie. That's all a lie. Every single thing you've ever heard out of their mouths about this is a lie. And even if you go and you talk to like Sheriff Arnott or the sheriff's department that was investigating it in the beginning, they're not happy with how this came out because they were going for a completely different story. They were going after a financial fraud story, long-term con that turned ugly, you know, like.
So basically her and her mother were scamming.
Yes. Okay. And but in 2011, what changes the whole thing? And see, we only found this out this last year. We've had the medical records since 2017, 2018. We started getting them from Christy and Gypsy signing off on giving them to us. And see, the thing is we got thousands and thousands and thousands of those. And my medical staff went through them, but there was one piece missing. And that was the fact that she's saying there's no long-term effects. But in 2011, and she has now admitted this herself, that they did know about it, that they were informed about it, and that she has this. She has a chromosome disorder that she was born with. It is not from Dee Dee's side. It comes from Rod's side, and all four of his children have the facial markers for it.
I was gonna say her face look a bit slow.
Yeah. So exactly. So
she like she was born by way of incest a little bit.
Something, you know. There's a story there. You know, there's a story there. There's a story there, and that's the thing. There's always a story there with this.
Yeah.
But truthfully, that chromosome disorder, when we discovered that this year, because we decided we were going to take another look. You know, this has never made sense to me as Munchausen by proxy. Not one time. I've talked to just tons and tons of Munchausen by proxy experts. We've talked to psychologists. I've talked to investigators, and not a single one of them could give me a plausible explanation of what I was looking at, that this was Munchausen by proxy. So, you know, we had our staff looking at all of this, and they're looking at it going, okay, these records look unremarkable, but she doesn't have any long-term effects. So then this all has to be untrue. But the thing is she does have long-term lasting effects. She does have eye problems. She did have ear problems. She did have feeding tube problems, feeding problems, failure to thrive. She was diagnosed with a muscular problem. They didn't figure it out until 2011 when they ran a very specialized genetic testing to try and figure out what all these erroneous little things that she had, because they didn't really fit into any one major thing.
So are you saying that her mother knew about this?
Yes. Her entire family knew about this.
And so that was their way of basically, it's kind of like when you have kids, you don't have money, you get on welfare, but you take it to a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so what I saw was, because all I have is the movie. You know what I'm saying? When the movie came out, I think that's most of us, right?
That's most of you.
When we see the movie, it's like, oh my God, like how could her mother do that? And so when she turned around and killed her mom, it kind of made sense. But what always just kind of like really just kind of rubbed me the wrong way was like, why did she still end up going to jail? if she was taken advantage of her entire life by her mother, why did they still end up putting her in jail?
Well, because people still seem to think that she was 15 when she killed her mother. She was 23 years old.
Get the fuck out of here.
She was a month away from being 24 years old. She had been in on the con for a very long time. My thought process, okay, so she's given me several different scenarios. And if you listen to her, her stories always just change, like depending on who she's talking to. It'll be the same exact tale of whatever it is, but it's got completely different details, or it happened at a different time, or there's something just wrong with that story, or she embellishes something. And so you're like, what is the truth in all of this? But if you look at it, you begin to uncover patterns of things that they say. So you can begin to see like, oh, I caught you there. That's where that is. Like, so I believe the first story she told me was that the first time she knew something wasn't right was at 5 years old, when she was supposed to have her first hearing test, and she got the first miracle ear in Louisiana at the time. Like, they had never had a miracle ear hearing aid donation at that time. It was being, it was just now coming out at the time that she did this. This is a 5 years old. Her mom weaseled her way back into the hearing room with her, because, they're not supposed to do that. It's supposed to keep the test, pure. Right. But her mom kept telling them, oh, well, it's going to be, she gets really panicked if they're not with her. So then she literally, told her how to squeeze her hand to tell her what was a hearing test and what was not a hearing test. Hear that. If I squeeze this, you're going to hear it. And if I don't squeeze, you don't hear it. And so that was at 5 that she says that she started with that. Was she groomed to do this? For sure. But this is what this family does. It's a generational con. It's a generational thing with specifically the women in this family.
So Gypsy Rose grandmother was doing all this shit too?
Yes, to her mother as well. Yes. But not making her sick. None of these people do the things that Munchausen by proxy moms do. So if you were to talk about somebody like Lacey Spears, who poisoned her son, who was 5 years old, with salt to death. She was putting that in his feeding tubes and in his IVs, and causing him to have these episodes of seizures and high fevers and all this stuff. And he passes away. She even does it to him while he's in the hospital. You don't see that with Dee Dee. What it is a bunch of random things that you can't quite figure out how they all tie together, but that somehow they do. Right. So the doctors in all of this were always looking for the answer. And in 2011, they got that answer. And at that point, Dee Dee was no longer scamming anyone.
And Dee Dee is Gypsy's mother.
Right.
Okay.
Right. There was no long con going on anymore. There was no massive amounts of medical visits, not since 2011.
Because they caught on to the scam.
They had. And at that time, Dee Dee was also declining in health. So she couldn't keep up the scam anymore.
So now it was her turn. It was Gypsy's turn to take Dee Dee to the hospital.
Yeah.
And run the checkup.
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Something
all
like
right,
that. Something
right.
coming along like that. Gypsy
Okay.
really is the one towards the end there that I think was running the show. Can I prove that? No. I mean, there's ways we've heard stories, we've heard tales of them. People saw her out walking around and they knew it was her. There was several different cases of fraud opened up in that area so that the people knew. The community that she lived in, the habitat community that she lived in, was heavily involved in the con community that she was going to, like the Comic-Cons and everything.
Yeah.
And she had already been caught twice with older men and had IDs and everything else. She had an ID that proved she was over the age of 18. So how can you sit here and tell me you didn't know how you were 18? You knew exactly how old you were. Don't tell me you don't know because you don't have candles on your cake at 8 years old. You did. I have a picture of you.
And see, that's ultimately why I believe she filed the lawsuit against you, is because you had all this.
I have all this.
And so this was her way of trying to silence you from putting it out.
It is. It's silencing my First Amendment rights. Absolutely. They made a mistake. They gave me a person who wasn't going to stop looking like everyone else. All the other people that they've worked with in the past, they've been able to control. And the ones that they haven't been able to control don't work with them, such as Hulu, The Act, did not work with them. Michelle Dean, after she wrote her BuzzFeed article and she went to Hulu and sold them the act and was working with them, I'm actually part of the people on the Blanchard side that was trying to help negotiate that, because the act didn't want them involved at all, because they were concerned that they would change the narrative. And they have. That's all they've ever done is change the narrative.
Everything we've been told about this Gypsy Rose Blanchard story and how her mother victimized her, and as a result, it's kind of like, you know, a girl getting taken and her pimp abuses her, but she loves her pimp, but she turns around and kills her pimp. She still ends up going to jail because she knows that murder is wrong. But at the same time, like, the pimp was obviously taking advantage of her.
Like Centoya Brown, like Centoya Brown, which I totally get that. That's self-defense.
Right.
What Centoya Brown did was self-defense. What Gypsy Rose did was she was in no danger at any time. She was not having multiple procedures done that she didn't need. All the procedures she had done were medically necessary. She was lying. They were conning charities and individuals. They were not actually going to the hospital and treating things that didn't exist. That's what a Munchausen by proxy mom does. They treat things that aren't there, never there. Gypsy actually had these things. Dee Dee just embellished them for financial gain. Basically, like you said, okay, so think about it like a single mom. She was a single mom.
Yeah.
Okay. Rod leaves her at 3 months old with a sick kid.
Correct.
Right. So what is she going to do? Like,
I'm
how
going
is
to
she
get my
do
food
this?
stamps, my welfare, my Medicaid, my WIC, all of that shit.
All of that shit.
Child support, right.
You meet a doctor that possibly is a little, you know, suspicious.
Same doctors that can write prescriptions for extra pain pills.
The doctor that sees her in Louisiana and then miraculously is also in Missouri when she lands there after Hurricane Katrina, you know, wink, wink. Yeah, that doctor. Okay. So she meets that doctor, and immediately then it's when the fraud starts to happen. We start seeing all these things for financial gain again. If you look at the medical records in Missouri versus the medical records in Louisiana, they're very different. The ones in Missouri, it's clear fraud. You can look at it, you can see them. You're like, oh, that's fraud, that's fraud, that's fraud. Like all these things. The medical records in Louisiana are more along the lines of something's wrong with my kid. I don't know what's wrong with my kid. And since you're telling me something's wrong with my kid, I'm going to use that to my advantage. I've always wanted to meet celebrities. I've always wanted to have a lavish life. So, you know.
Okay. Just Wendy, I don't know what your deal is, but I'm just going to let you know that we have put out more information about this case than any one person ever. And collectively, all the other people who talk about this, we have put all the information. No, you're not supposed to just believe me. You're supposed to do your research and understand what the truth is, and not what somebody who is a murderer and a liar for her life has said. You don't have to believe me. Go do your research. I've put out more than enough information to prove what I'm saying. Okay? Okay. Just wanted you to understand that. So here we go.
If we say that you're really sick, Gyps, and we just push it to the max, sit in this little wheelchair here, and you can do anything you want to do.
This is, see, we were all under the impression that it only took place in the Black community. I love you. I love you.
She's like that. She's, you know, I'm surprised Dee Dee didn't freaking put the phone bill in her name. Okay. Like, seriously, this is the kind of person she was. She's going to lie and cheat and whatever to get ahead and get whatever. But is she really doing anything to anyone or making her kids sick or anything? No. Gypsy is nothing more than an actress, a child actress who sat in a chair and shaved her head so she could be paid, just like the kids on.
So you said she was compliant.
Yes.
Because I was going to ask you, because there was a scene in the movie, the teeth were gone. The teeth was you hit that wine, girl.
I did.
Don't get some more. It's yours. It's your bottle. It's your bottle.
Oh, it's good too.
I know it's good. So here's the thing. So there was a scene in there where Gypsy ain't had no teeth.
Right.
Head was shaved. They raised money. Here.
Yes, they do.
They raised money.
Yes, ma'am.
Was that real?
I mean, it's a real scenario of that story at certain times and point in time. Yeah. So it's like basically like it happened several times, but they used one illustration of it.
Okay.
You know, so Yeah, they would have like movie car nights where they would invite the neighborhood kids over and supply snacks and have a backyard thing and raise money there. But then they also toted her out for every single charity event for the community. So any Habitat event or Make-A-Wish event, or the local movie theater had charity events. Gypsy was there for all of those. And they're talking about how eloquently and wonderfully she speaks, but you're telling me she has a mental retardation or mental slowness of a 7-year-old. No, that you can't say one thing. She eloquently speaks and gets people to donate because of her passion and her words, and then tell me that you can't have a regular life. Like, she doesn't have a regular life. Like, she's not 7, she thinks like a 7-year-old. Those two things don't match each other. So basically, it's just, like I said, it's no different than if, you had a kid like, I'm trying to think of a Zoe 101, so you think about the kids being on there.
Right.
They know that stuff isn't real. They know that that's not the truth. Exactly. They go home, they have a regular life. Mm-hmm. She did too. If you look at the crime scene photos, there is absolutely no way that a wheelchair could get around that crime scene in any way, shape, or form. And there's 5 of them in the house, 2 for Dee Dee and 3 for Gypsy, placed throughout the house. There's no marks on the carpet that shows a wheelchair has ever gone in there. It's so cluttered and so wall to ceiling, just everything. There's no.
So they were hoarding.
Yeah, so they're hoarding, and she's got stuff all over the windows so nobody can see in. So they did whatever they wanted in the house. Just sit in this wheelchair when we go out in public. We'll get lots of money. You'll get to go anywhere you want. Okay.
Damn.
And I really think that started at probably 5 to 7 years old. I think she understood that what they were doing. I don't think she knew how, she was obviously participating because her mother told her. Mm-hmm. But when you're getting to 14 years old, she did not leave Louisiana until she was 14 years old. So she's sitting here trying to say, well, I never had candles on my birthday cake. Yes, you did. I have pictures of you with candles on your birthday cake. And your family is now trying to say they haven't seen you since you were 6, but we have this picture of them right here where they saw you. And you are definitely not 6. So what are we talking about here? And that's where we're at. And so
do you think she used all of this as a defense?
Speech, guys, over here, just so you know, I got.
And that's
got her plea
because
deal.
I was trying to figure out. I was like, if she was truly like a real victim, she wouldn't be in jail.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, absolutely.
So what? Okay, so here's the thing, because obviously to bring charges against her, the prosecutors knew something. Did they know what you knew? Were they trying to prove what you knew?
No. No, the investigation was stopped very early on by the prosecutor's office. Basically, they had their guy, Nicholas, her boyfriend, had confessed. Mm-hmm. She's the local darling, and nobody wants to frickin', mess with that, because then the whole town is under scrutiny now, right? And
they helped to create this monster, and now
And so basically they're caught with their pants down, I think, really. And it was a convenient truth was that there was one piece of paper in her medical records somewhere that says possible suspicion of Munchausen by proxy. But that's it. It's one time in a file, and then she does not follow up with that doctor. And people think that she doctor shopped. She did not doctor shop. She went to a specific set of doctors in each location that she lived in. So in Louisiana, she saw the certain doctors in this one area. Then they moved to Slidell. She saw doctors in that area. Then they moved to Louisiana, and they see doctors in Kansas City first. Then they transfer care to Springfield because they get the Habitat house. And then in 2009, when first she was caught with a man at VisionCon, she had been missing for 4 hours. She had stolen money out of her mom's purse. She had stolen medications out of her mom's purse and was wanting to run away.
I'm sorry, guys. Hang on. Am I back now? I'm sorry. An Amber Alert just went across my screen. Apparently there's a missing child. Okay.
How old was she at the time?
She was 18 at the time.
And she wanted to run away?
And she had an ID on her. They found her in a room with a man in an undressed sexual relations. And she was able to provide an ID to prove that she was over the age of 18. But her mother still convinced them that, she's mentally handicapped. So this man must have taken advantage of her. but they all knew.
So they caught Gypsy fucking, and the mom said she was too young.
Yep. And they also caught her walking, and they were just like, yeah, okay, well, what? She's 18. She's over the age of 18. So you've lied about her age. You've lied about her conditions. You've lied about her mental capacity. So what aren't you lying about? Like this, but the community just continued to pretend that was the truth and towed her out to those things.
Now,
so you tell me, I mean,
I'm going to give Gypsy something that, listen, I got to give her a prop. Gypsy know how to keep a man. Gypsy keeps some dick.
Oh, I know.
Gypsy
got the golden hoo-hoo or what, man? I don't know.
I'm like, Gypsy got out of jail with a. First of all, Gypsy went to jail with her man. Then she got out of jail with a man. Okay, dumped that man. Got another man. Now she's allegedly pregnant by either that man or the other man that she left.
Right.
I said, Gypsy.
And the other man is an old man. He's the ex-fiance from while she was in prison. Like, I can't make this up anymore. I was just
So how old is Gypsy now?
She's 32, maybe 33. She's in that age range, 32, 33.
And she keep a good wig on now. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, I know.
She's
an interesting soul.
Did you see my latest story? Because I did a story on her.
I don't watch a lot about her.
Announcing her pregnancy. I said, Lord, this baby finna be at the doctor every day. This baby finna be a hypochondriac. The baby gonna come out saying, wait to give me a vitamin K shot.
I think differently, to be honest with you.
What you think?
Okay, so with our finding of the chromosome disorder and really realizing that what it is that I think Gypsy didn't want to be the sick kid anymore. I think she just doesn't want to do that. She's in denial of her own conditions. Because even after coming out and admitting, hey, we did know about this chromosome disorder in 2011, I don't have any of symptoms. And I'm like, honey, I can look at your face and I can show you exactly what the symptoms on your face are. And how are you going to say you don't have symptoms when you had eye problems, feeding problems, all of those things that your dad said specifically, and Mommy, Dad, and Dearest, he said. Dee Dee told me it was a chromosome disorder, and that's why all of her things were not developing properly. Her stomach, her lungs, her this. That's the truth.
Were they related?
Yes, they're all related to this chromosome disorder. If you look up chromosome deletion, it's the micro deletion of the 1q21.1 micro.
But isn't that from your parents being related, though?
It can be, but not necessarily. I mean, is that the story that I've heard? Sure.
Because the only time I've ever heard of that chromosome deletion is from your parents or cousins, or they're somewhere around there. They're very close around the bloodline. That's why they don't want you. Like in West Virginia, babe.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely the trees don't fork as much down there. And Christy has said that they were related
Thank you so much for all the love, guys.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
And Christy is Dee Dee.
Christy is her stepmother.
Gypsy's stepmother.
The second wife.
Okay.
So Rod's second wife, she has 2 of his children.
Okay. Because her daddy's still here. She ain't popped him off yet.
No, not yet.
Okay.
That's my husband just laughed. No, she ain't popped him off yet. But I mean, I told them they should be worried. You know, I warned Christy when we were first friendly. You know, we were friendly for 3 years.
Okay.
We were really friendly until I realized, hey, this is 1 + 1 is not adding up to 2.
Now, do they fuck with it? Do they fuck with Gypsy, her dad and his stepmom? I mean, her stepmom. Do they fuck with Gypsy?
They have her. Do they have a relationship with her? They're living in her house. She's living in their house, and
now,
yeah. And Christy admitted.
Oh hell no!
Oh, wait till you hear this. If you don't know this yet, Tasha, Christy admitted on national television that she's the one who split up Ryan and Gypsy, and was talking to Ken the whole time, trying to get Ken back together with Gypsy, and she's proud of it. She's proud of it that she broke up a freaking marriage that her daughter had, a man who really cared about her,
and introduced her to the new guy,
to the old fiance. Yeah, got the old fiance back in her life.
So whose baby is it that Gypsy's carrying?
Hell if I know. I don't even know if she's carrying one at this point.
You did write that on your blog. You was like, it just looked like a fupa down there.
It does. And here's the thing: it's not the first time she's pulled this stunt. I mean, she pulled that on Nicholas to get him to kill her mama. First story was that she has cancer and it would be a merciful thing to kill my mama because she's going to die anyway. And the faster that we do this, the less she suffers and the sooner we can be together. That was the first tactic. That didn't work. So she worked on him for 3 more years. And the very last thing she told him was that because her mother forced her to go have her feeding tube changed again, that she lost their unborn child. And of course it was a girl, his baby girl daughter, so that he would come do this. And do what she did. And then there's reasonable doubt all over the crime scene. So, I mean, we still don't know what we're looking at with this, like there is so many, this is an onion with thousands of layers, and if you look at it and think that any of it's true, then you're not looking at it with a critical enough eye. Someone who, is very dear to me, who's followed this case and saw what it's done to me, the harassment, the bullying, the stalking, the different things that have happened from this family, not wanting the truth out there. And she said to me, Fancy, I just don't know if I can get you past mad. Like you're really mad. I'm like, I am really mad, but the case is the case and the people are the people, totally different from me. Right.
So what was she trying to sue you for?
Well, we'll get there just a second.
All right, go ahead.
So Jennifer says to me though, she goes, Fancy, you're still operating under the assumption that any of it is real. She's like, you need to start back at the beginning and start off as nothing is the truth. And then the truth will start to find its way through. And that really changed how I looked at things. That's how we found the chromosome disorder again. We've had it. We just didn't know it. We didn't know what we were looking at. Those records run you in circles. If you think that nothing is wrong with her and they're treating all these things, you're like, I don't understand because this isn't adding up with inside of this lie. It's not making any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So what they sued me for is basically libel, defamation, slander, all that, because I won't tell the story they want me to tell. They have essentially been able to bully anyone else into the story they've wanted them to tell. And it doesn't even matter if it paints Gypsy bad or not, as long as it continues to push the narrative that she's this abused child, because that makes her the forever victim and it makes people want to feel sorry for her and give her things.
Just and you disagree.
And I disagree on all of it. I won't do that. That's why they don't like me, because they cannot bully me. They cannot buy me off. They cannot make me stop. They cannot tell me that I don't know what I know. They don't understand what to do with a person like me, because everybody else works and wants money or fame or clout. I'm not about that. I'm about truth. I wanted truth on this case. That was the only thing I cared about. I sat on their back porch and I told them I wanted good, bad, ugly. And no matter if they would give me all of that, I would make sure that the story that was told was truthful and accurate.
So you guys were working on a documentary.
We were working originally on a scripted series. Then when we started getting more and more information, I was like, oh, okay, this is going to go well beyond a scripted series. So I wanted to still do the scripted series because, like The Act, it brought in a whole new realm of people that don't necessarily watch documentaries. Right.
Yeah.
So with The Act, I ended up doing an 8-part debunking with In Touch, where I went through each episode and said what was right and what was wrong. But we wanted to do that. We wanted a scripted series because I thought maybe we could reach a larger audience with it, but very truthful scripted series. I was trying to go for something not a lot of people do. And then I was like, and then I think we need to do like an after show for, like after Walking Dead, it's like the Talking Dead. That's what we were thinking we were going to do, like an after show of each episode, basically having, medical professionals and a panelist of panel and talk about, what did we see in this episode and what does those things really mean in real life, and that's what we were working on. And yeah, we were working on that for almost 3 years. And, when I got the interrogation video, my whole thought process changed.
So you went from actually being for Gypsy
very
in the beginning.
Yeah, very much.
That's how you got all the information. And then as you were developing this series, docuseries, all of this, when you started to uncover more, you was like, well, we're not dealing with a victim. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
You're dealing with someone who was totally competent of doing.
Well, in the history of ever, Tasha, when have we ever listened to what a murderer says about their victim? No murderer has ever come out and been like, yep, I did it and they were awful and I hated them and that's why I did it. Nobody comes up and says that. Like, the person, what do they say? I didn't do it. There's no way I didn't do that. Nobody, there's not a serial killer, a murderer alive that's just like, yep, was me, totally me. You know, that's just it. No. So you have to think about that. She is preconceived to lie about this situation in the first place. She's covering her own ass. She did something
making sure
that
you're
she's going to be in
liking.
serious trouble for. So what better way to do it than to play up the sick kid even more than she already was?
But can they charge her twice though?
No. Nope.
But it's just a matter of the public's opinion.
Public's opinion, but there are other things that she could have been charged with federally.
Like what?
Like mailing the murder weapon across lines, across state lines. That's a federal offense.
Oh.
The fraud that she committed, that's a federal offense. And those fraud charges are not within side of her plea deal. I thought they would be when I saw the plea deal, but they're not. It's just the murder charges. So they basically just swept all the fraud under the rug and pretended like it doesn't exist. And it's really interesting to me that she got 10-year sentence with serving 80% would put her right at 8 years. Do you know what happens right at 8 years? The statute of limitations for fraud runs out. So they send her away on an election year.
Crazy.
Okay, so think about this. It's an election year for them. Okay, Dan Patterson, the DA, is up for election. He is being hammered in the news because he is failing to investigate hundreds of sex trafficking, child endangerment cases, child abuse cases, everything. It's all over. If you look back in 2015 and you type in Dan Patterson, there is news article after news article after news article of him not investigating things that the community was getting very upset about. Okay. So you get dropped in your lap a honey of a case. Here it is. This is the sweetheart of the town. She's been abused. She's been, the system has failed her. See, it's not me. It's not our town. It's the system that failed her. And it's so bad. And the doctors failed her and her family failed her. Not us, not Springfield. No, we didn't fail her in any way. We've got amazing medical care here. He talks about, the whole thing in the documentaries. So he's basically, I think it was a situation where there's a DA that may not be reelected, and he's thinking, I'm getting screwed for not prosecuting any abuse cases, and here's a honey of an abuse case. Like, if I go hard on her, that's not going to look good for me because people are like, she's the town sweetheart, right? So get the outside shooter, the weird guy from out of town, to give a full confession. Make a documentary before he goes to trial, get it out in the public with the narrative you want it to be, and then sign a plea deal for your daughter with that. There was a letter that was drafted from HBO to Rod and Christie, basically telling them that they were the ones who collected all the medical records for her defense of a Munchausen by proxy thing, and they provided him with it, provided Mike Stanfield, HBO provided them with a USB hard drive.
So you saying they was in on it too?
They had everything before she ever took a plea deal and before Nicholas went to trial. Yes. I do.
See, this why
I don't know if it's ignorance.
This why the government don't like y'all. This why the government don't like white women, because y'all be finding out everything. Y'all done freed this, help damn Abraham Lincoln to free the slaves, free women, free everybody. Cause damn it.
I'm telling you, it took me a long time, girl. Like, I thought I was done in 2019 when we did the podcast. We thought we were done. We weren't going to talk about it much anymore. We were going to write a book. We would maybe do the docuseries, but we were really done. We were tired.
Did you ever confront Gypsy about this shit? Mm-hmm. And I guess that's where she got upset. She sent you a death threat?
Told me that the last person that got in her way, her mother, that person isn't here anymore. Mm-hmm. She sold it to me.
And you didn't believe that she was going to stand on that shit?
No, I did. I tried to tell the warden. They didn't see it as a threat, a real threat.
So you was talking to her while she was behind bars?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am, for 3 years. Mm-hmm. And her family. Yep. That's how I got everything I got. And I truly believed it. Hook, line, sinker. Not even kidding you. I'm an abuse victim myself. My mother was very abusive growing up. My mom had massive health problems. So, in the 70s and 80s, when juvenile diabetes was,
Put the mic to you. Can bring the
Yeah,
mic.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
you can bring it to you though, if you want to leave
So
that. There
my
you go.
mother, my mother was juvenile diabetic. She
Okay.
had a lot of health problems. Back in the day, she was on medications that they didn't know what that was doing to people's minds and, things. And my mother was very aggressively abusive. Was she my favorite person in the world? Yeah. Was she my champion? Of course. But I struggled with my mother. And so I thought I understood Gypsy and her case. And that's what most
prison
people
has
do.
never responded.
Most
to my
people
request.
project their own traumas, their own abuse, their own issues onto this case and somehow make her the hero that they couldn't be. Right. But you're the hero in your story. Gypsy's not a person in your story at all. Projecting yourself onto her and putting your own abuse story, your own this, your own that onto her is not her. You're not Gypsy Rose. She's Gypsy Rose. You're a hero in your story, not her. She doesn't need to be the poster child for I've been abused and I'm making good on my life, because I don't think she is anyway. Like, nothing she has done since she's left prison has been productive. Nothing has been what she said it was going to be. I'm going to advocate. You read a freaking pamphlet like poorly on TikTok. That's not advocating. I'm going to that's not that. Like, literally, she's just done nothing to show that in the last 10 years, she's matured at all.
And it's interesting the way you're describing it, right? Because you've had a lot of interactions with her, and like I said, I'm happy that you were able to kind of get it dismissed and things like that.
Yeah.
The lawsuit that she filed against you, because I thought that was weird. Like,
it is. It basically, they're contesting my contract, and the funny thing is that everything that they're contesting in the contract is stuff that is proven in the contract as you didn't do this part. Like, we said we would do this. We said we would do that. Did we promise to make them any certain amount of money? No, we did not. Did we promise them that we would even make a project? No, we did not. Because in Hollywood, that's not how it goes down. It's a promise of, hey, if this works, this is what you get. And if you don't, sorry, we don't have anything. Like, that's it. You don't make promises you can't, you don't issue checks your ass can't cash and like that. It was basically, look, I'll take your story. I'll see what I can do. I'll run it up a fucking flagpole here, and we'll see if anybody likes it. By the time I got it out there, it was so much done and saturated the market. Nobody wanted to hear another Gypsy Rose story. And I'm telling them, I've got a different story. And they weren't seeing it yet. Well, here's the thing. I didn't have a different story yet. I do now. I have a totally different story now. I have a completely different look at what caused this. Why did this happen? What were the events that have happened? And it's really sad, because I truly believe that Dee Dee actually was a good mom. Was she a good person? No, I don't think she's a good person. She's a scam artist. That makes you inherently not a good person, right? Okay. But it's no different than a mafia family or like John Meehan, who was taught to grift his whole life. Like, do you consider all of that abuse? No, nobody considers that abuse.
They were born. They learned that.
Yeah, they
train
learned
the child in the way in which you want them to go.
Right. Okay. So, okay, fine. Can it be construed as abuse of teaching her to lie, cheat, steal, whatever? Yeah. But taking her to a doctor and having unnecessary medical procedures? No, ma'am. That did not happen.
She just wanted to make sure her baby was healthy.
Yeah. She was maybe a little hypochondriac, like you said. Yeah. I think she's a little bit of a hypochondriac. Every little sneeze, every little thing, she's in an emergency room.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I don't think that this really took off the way that Dee Dee even planned until really Hurricane Katrina hit, and they were given this amazing opportunity and they seized it. I'm sorry. There is no realm of possibility where you can tell me that a child at 14 years old, their mother walks in and she's not developmentally delayed, as if she's telling everybody, right? Okay. So if you believe that Munchausen by proxy is true, if you believe that, let's say, okay, she does have an MVP, then she had none of the things. And so when she told her she was 14, that she was now 12, do you know a 14-year-old girl that you could have told at 14 that they're now 12, that they wouldn't have fucking fought your ass on it? Not a single one.
They like kids, like
kids know.
They stand on their age.
Right.
I'm 14 and a half.
Right. I'm
15 and a half.
Telling me that you're 12 years old and be like, yeah, I just didn't ask any questions because I never have candles on my cake. Oh, fuck you. Come on now. Like, seriously? I don't know if I'm allowed to say those things, but I mean, come on now.
The wine seller's folk, girl.
Be
Let it
so
out.
for real on how stupid do you think we really are? When I really sat and looked at it, I'm like, this dog does not hunt. Okay, you can tell me it's a fish all you want, but if it doesn't smell like a fish and it doesn't, feel like a fish, then it's not a fish. And this is not a fish. Like if it quacks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it's a duck. Well, this isn't. It doesn't quack like a duck and it doesn't walk like a duck, so it's not a duck.
So you are honestly, when this podcast goes out, you are going to be the first on record to state that this whole thing that we've ever known about Gypsy Rose was a scam.
A scam. The con continues.
So everything that we know, we are being asked to challenge it and look at it through another lens. Yes. And the fact that they said that she was 15 when she killed her mom, and she was really
23.
23.
You've been fed a lie. You guys have been fed misconceptions, and those very small misconceptions tell a totally different narrative. For instance, right now, we're in the process of, we're releasing our book. It's the transcripts of our podcast that we did in 2019.
Give us a link to that so we can.
We will.
Yeah.
And so it's coming out on the 26th of this month. We finally
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it starts off with, the transcripts of what we did in 2019. And we have been forced to go back and look at, what did we say in 2019? What were our thoughts and feelings? And I personally was very taken aback by my opinion of her co-defendant, Nicholas, because they had villainized him so horribly to me. And they had told me all these stories and shown me all this evidence of him being just this horrible person, but it was all manipulated. And so I went out into the media.
He was a victim.
Yes. He's a victim too. His mother is dead because, she overdosed and killed herself because she never saw her baby again.
What?
I mean, this is a tragic story. She didn't take one life. So he went and killed
Gypsy's mom because Gypsy was convinced him. And then his mom, after losing him, kills herself.
Overdosed.
I did not know she did.
Overdosed on drugs because she couldn't deal with it. She called Gypsy Rose a beast.
She didn't like her either. She never liked her.
No. Nope, that's her word. Stephanie said that beast came in and made and did this to my son because she knew from the very beginning when she was manipulating him in all the text messages that it was not okay. Nobody would have thought that this would have happened. You don't think that you can sit here and go, oh, okay, my baby's dating a person I don't like, right? But nobody goes, my baby's dating a person I don't like and he's going to commit murder tomorrow. Nobody thinks that.
Yeah.
She tried to convince him not to go, that they would drive him to pick her up, oh, she's been thrown out and I just need to go get her on my own. No, son, let us come with you. Let us go get her with you. We'll drive you
the
there.
Night of the murder.
Yes. Yeah, the night.
So his mom had like a feeling some shit was about to go
they
down.
were messaging her. They were messaging her through text messages asking, is my son okay? Where is he? And she was communicating with them. Yeah, he's fine. Everything's great. She is diabolical. So sad. Probably one of the best liars I've ever met. The problem is that she can't keep her lies straight. And she don't like narcissistic people, sociopathic people. And I'm not saying she's either. I'm saying she has tendencies of both. Okay. Because I am going to school for forensic psychology. I'm not diagnosing her. I'm simply saying what I observe is she has tendencies, psychopathic, sociopathic, narcissistic tendencies. And those all can be related to her chromosome disorder because it does include developmental and mental delays. It even is tied to schizophrenia.
Damn.
So what we're watching right now is the chromosome disorder in action. There is a child now that has been indulged her whole life. She was given anything and everything she wanted. She's even said it on prison confessions. I've never paid for a thing a day in my life. And she hasn't. And she still isn't. Her baby's registry, she posted it up on her Instagram, and within 30 minutes, that entire registry was sold out.
Damn.
Then she loaded it 3 more times, and now she's trying, right? And now she's trying to claim that nobody bought anything, that they were just sending her hateful messages. And so she sent that in to the actual baby list company, and they ended up giving her a $500 gift certificate because she posted her account publicly instead of privately giving out her baby registry. She's claiming that all these people were messaging her and sending her terrible messages and not actually buying anything, but just doing all this. And so they felt so bad for her that they give her a $500 gift card. And then her and her friend go on TikTok and brag about it. The con continues. This baby ain't out the womb, and she's already making money on it.
That baby finna come out scamming. I'm telling you, that baby gonna be like mama.
And see, here's the thing I was talking about earlier of her not wanting to admit that she's actually sick. She doesn't want to be sick. That's what it is. Mama would not let her know that she wasn't sick. No, you are sick. When she says, Mom said I couldn't do this and I probably couldn't do that, that's probably the truth. She probably told her those because those are actual expectations. Should she be having a baby right now with all of her medical health problems? Probably not. I don't think so. Has she done the genetic counseling to make sure of what is the probability of this baby having worse symptoms, because it can go all the way from this disorder itself can go all the way from no symptoms whatsoever to completely you having a child that has such severe microcephaly, they don't live past a couple days.
Damn.
So it's a wide range, right? So she's in what we call like a moderate to severe range of it. She's not mild like her sister Mia and Nicolette, but she's also not like severe, like, she died within a couple of years. But the life expectancy for someone like her that has this disorder in the level that she does is around 50 to 60 years old. So if you think
she
about,
don't know where you stay, do she?
No. She do. She knows where I stay. She's threatened me. She's threatened me very many times. I've had stalkers talk about my house, show the inside of my home. Oh yeah. It's been all because of a quest for truth. And she don't like that I have it. And she knows she fucked up because she gave it to somebody who couldn't be bullied or swayed or
that's crazy that you started out on her side and you was about to shoot and then you was like, hold up, I'm being scammed, damn it.
Yeah. Well, even this last year when we found out she was getting out, I went to my daughter, who is my original writing partner, went with me down there. She's the only one who went with me. Okay. So it's me and my daughter. She was 18, 19 years at the time that we went down there. Okay. And we took cameras, but we didn't take them in because we didn't want to spook the Petrie family, which is Dee Dee's family, because they had never given interviews yet. And they were giving them on Gypsy's Revenge while we were there. Like Gypsy's Revenge was there filming at the same time.
Okay.
But we didn't want to spook them on the second day. So we went in there with just pads, paper,
hey guys, we're having
school,
a problem here on
notes
TikTok. I'm going to end real quick.
So my daughter was there for all of that. And so when we heard she was coming out, I called my daughter and I was like, we're going to miss the boat again. This is going to happen again because we've missed so many opportunities with this, being late to the game or just one off or something just not quite getting us to the home plate. Right. And every single time it seemed to somehow work in our favor, but we didn't understand it at the time. Like, just frustrating. Like, why has this never gotten done? And I was like, if we don't get this out before she gets released, Sarah, I don't know if we're going to be able to get it done. And she said, you know what, Mom? Why don't we wait? That girl has been sitting in there for 8 years and it's been 4 to 5 since you've talked to her. You don't know what's happened in the last 4 years. Maybe she comes out and she's real freaking humble and she's done the work and she goes off and she lives just her little normal life and we'll write our book and we'll do our series and we'll be done with them. And we don't have to worry about this anymore. It's taken a toll on you. It's taken a toll on everyone, then we don't have to. And I was like really scared to do that. But my daughter was like, Mom, just let's give her a chance to come out. Let's see what she says. Let's just see. And she came out swinging. I mean, she hit that ground day one, running with the tabloids, the whole thing. And I was like,
she got a whole
shit,
I follow her. I'm like, Gypsy got a new man every week. I said, she got a baby, new wig. I said, damn.
She cuts her hair 95 times. And that's the thing. Like, we had to make a decision. When she came out, and all this nonsense started happening, I felt like there was an obligation as the experts on this case to kind of report on the nonsense. And then we got caught up in the nonsense because they like to catch me up in the drama so that I don't accomplish what I'm actually trying to accomplish.
So you spend your time arguing with motherfuckers online.
Right. Instead of doing your work.
I got that. Sometimes that happened to me.
Right. And they send people after me for that. They do all kinds of shit. Yeah. The whole thing. Right. So I really had to think about it. And I was like, I think I'm done. Like, I don't think I have anything else that I publicly want to say that won't be in my book, my documentaries, whatever we're doing outside of the public eye. I think my time publicly of talking about this, now that there is a whole new army of people that have picked up the truth story and are investigating and are looking at it and talking about it, I'm not the only one anymore. I don't have to be the one carrying the sword of this story and the truth of the story anymore. I've done everything I can do to get that out there. It's time now for me to let this go. I have other things I want to accomplish in my life. This was never supposed to be the Gypsy Rose story, show. This was a show for a company, a network that we were building, and it just hit me the other day. I was recording something else, and then I just hit the record button. I was like, hey guys, I think I'm done. I'm not going to talk about this anymore right now. Like, if there's something important that comes up, and the baby did, right? Literally, like 2 days later, the baby came up.
And then I think we had already confirmed you. So I was like, Fancy's going to talk about this. Yes.
Yeah. This baby. Okay. and I do want to talk about the baby because, a lot of people think she shouldn't have a baby. A lot of people think that.
I believe that too.
Yes. Okay. And a lot of people believe that we're overstepping our boundaries of, what should we really be able to say about this girl? Like, she needs
put the mic to your,
she needs to live her life, right? Gotcha. She needs to be allowed to live her life. She needs to, she's been prisoned her whole life and blah, blah, the whole freaking thing, right? You know the stop story. And I just kept thinking about it. And I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to talk about her baby daddies and her baby and what freaking, TMZ article came out about her this week. I don't care how many times she goes to the fucking Dollar Tree. I don't care that, she's going to end up on Good Morning America talking about a baby that she's basically, exploiting before it's even here, while talking about how she was exploited. Like, look, you guys won't call her out on jack shit. So if you're not going to call her out on jack shit, can we all just agree that she needs to go away? Like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And people were like, but what are we going to do without you telling the truth? And I'm like, you're still going to have the truth. You have everything I have, and I still have projects coming out. But personally, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to talk about her anymore. She's toxic.
But you are going to write the book.
Yes.
We're going to write coming out.
Yeah. We have 3 books planned. So
okay, gotcha.
There's our transcript book with reflections and some new evidence. Then there's our journey to the truth. Like, we're going to write a 7-year journey. And then I have a Nicholas book coming out.
Okay, gotcha.
And then we've got the documentary series. Yeah, you do. You need all those things. Okay. But my time being spent on lives online, telling people the same thing I've told them for 8 years is no longer serving my purpose.
It's not hitting the big sites.
No.
You said when we see a lawsuit being filed on you and they're saying that you're leaking her medical information, it's like, well, if she is, you can talk about the medical information.
The only person who should be in trouble for leaking her medical information should be her stepmother. If they didn't want it out, if they didn't want it out there, then they shouldn't have given it to everybody like it was fucking candy.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
That part.
You gave it to everyone. You gave it to HBO. You gave it to A&E. You gave it to bloggers. You gave it to podcasters. You gave it to the stalker lady on the street. That freaking, you gave them to everyone. You can no longer claim that they're private when you gave them to anyone and everyone that spoke to you.
And then they tried to turn around and sue
me because I have them. Well, I'm sorry. Lots of other people have them. Are you going to sue every single person that ever had them?
How did you get it dismissed though so quick? That was the quickest lawsuit. Like, how did it settle with Cassie? That shit was quick.
Well,
it was gone.
I'd like to say something that Christina, my dearly departed co-host of the Good Wives Network, we lost her in 2022.
I'm sorry. Rest in peace, Christina. Yeah.
We lost her, and she was a big part of this. And her statement always was, "Well, Fancy, I kind of just have to chalk it up to low intelligence, because there was no reason that they should have A, filed that lawsuit. B, they should have sued the company in the first place if they were going to sue anyone, because it's an LLC. Okay. C, they should, then on top of that, it was the wrong venue. The contract is governed by the laws of California. They know that. There's an arbitration clause in that contract.
Yeah, and they do have to go to arbitration.
And they didn't go to arbitration. They did none of the things that they were supposed to do. And then they want to take me to court and ask a judge to freaking look at it. Well, the judge literally stood there. He walked in. I had 24 hours to get there. I had been not served the whole thing. I drove through like almost like hurricane conditions, and I got into there at 6 a.m. for a 9 a.m. court date. Okay. And there's lots of stuff that happened that I will not talk about. But in the court case, when we got to the courtroom and the judge walked in, he smiled at me as he walked by. And I was like, well, that's good. Maybe
Gypsy was there too?
No, Gypsy was not there. Just her lawyer, Mike Stanfield.
Okay.
So it was me representing myself and Mike Stanfield representing Gypsy and her entire family. Her sister, her brother, her sister, her stepmother, her dad, and her are all in the lawsuit. Okay. So we show up and the guy walks past me. He smiles. And I was like, well, maybe I do have a chance because I kind of feel like this is a setup. Like, what is going on here? Because this is not how this is supposed to be happening. I contacted my friends in California that are attorneys, and they're like, this isn't how this goes. And I'm like, I know this is not how it goes, but it's going this way. So I don't know. And so I really wasn't sure what I was going to do. I just knew that I was smart enough to sit there and listen and figure out, how do I move this forward? My best case scenario, I really thought was we were going to get a continuance, and then I would be able to prepare and all that shit. But instead, the judge sat down and, we entered in who we were and what we were appearing for. And then the judge turned to Mr. Stanfield and, I'm sorry, first, let me back up. He turns to me and he said, Ms. Johns, can you tell me who you are? And I said, yeah, my name is April Johns. That's my actual, real government name. I'm here appearing on this case, sir. I'm representing myself. I didn't even know I was supposed to be here. And he goes, can you answer a question? If you didn't know how you were to be here this morning, how are you here standing in my courtroom, Ms. Johns? And I said, well, it's because a third party YouTuber got on YouTube and talked about this case. They found it on CaseNet, sir. And that's the only reason I'm here today. I didn't even know about this until 2 days ago, like literally. And then I didn't even know if I had to come yet because we sent in a dismissal to the judge and he didn't want to dismiss it that way, So I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't even know what I'm doing here. And so the judge looked at me and he goes, well, we can agree though that it's a good thing that you're here this morning, Ms. Johns. So you're not in, you're not in any trouble. Like, so you actually got here in time. And I was like, yes, sir. He's like, well, I just want to let you know that the reason that you didn't have to be served was because the only thing we were actually going to hear today was the TPO, which is a temporary, protection order, restraining order. He said, so they don't have to actually serve you for that in the first thing. They have to serve it to you. If I was to rule that there was going to be a TPO, then there's a 5-day thing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. And I said, yes, sir. And he goes, okay. So then he said, Mr. Stanfield, I have looked at all of the evidence in this case, all of the exhibits that you have put in, and I'm really at a loss here, sir. Could you please just explain to me why you think this is my problem? And I just was like, that's not how I expected this to go. Oh. I'm just going to sit here like, okay. I just sat quiet and I'm just like, yes, why don't you tell us why we're here? Because I still don't know, And so he starts stumbling through and he's like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, I'd like to understand why this is why you feel this is my venue's problem, sir. Well, because he goes, no. That's not what I just asked you. I want to know, why do you feel that there is nobody that lives in Missouri at this time, correct, Mr. Stanfield? And he says, no. He goes, so Miss Johns doesn't reside here, nor do any of your clients, right? And he's like, no. Then why is this our problem, sir? And he goes, well, because the tort, and I didn't know what tort meant, but as I got context, I was like, I think I can figure this out. So he says, well, the tort originated here. And because Miss Gypsy Rose signed her contract while she was residing at Chillicothe Correctional Center. And the judge goes, very, very interesting that you brought that up, Mr. Stanfield. So can I ask you a question? Was Gypsy Rose here in Chillicothe, Missouri of her own free will? And he's like, what? He goes, I'm asking you, sir, did she actually come and reside in Chillicothe because she chose to do so? Or was she forced here, sir, by a certain circumstance? Could that be why she was here in Chillicothe? He's like, well, she was housed in Chillicothe Correctional Center for 8 years. He goes, exactly, which does not make her a resident of Chillicothe, the city itself. It means that she was a resident of the state and the state chose where they wanted to house her. She is not a resident of Chillicothe, Missouri. She was a ward of the state, and as such, she has been released to the state of Louisiana. She has no further business in Missouri, and I have no understanding of why we would be hearing this today here, sir. So could you give me any other explanation? Which he tried to go through this whole thing, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, tort. Okay, I think he's talking about the contracts, which if he's talking about the contracts, then technically that originated 3 months prior in Louisiana on Christy and Rod's back porch when they signed the life rights agreement in September. Gypsy didn't sign hers till December. So that was my next thing I was going to say. Like if he turned to me and he was like, well, why do you think? That was what I was going to say. I don't know anything about torts, sir, but this is what I got from that sentence, and this is what I'm thinking. I didn't even have to. He said, now beyond this, the venue. So I've already discussed the venue with you, Mr. Stanfield. I have a couple other things I'd like to say here. He's like, well, can you give me a suggestion of what would be a better venue? He's like, well, sir, I'm not going to do your job for you, but I've got a couple suggestions. Is this contract that you have here with Ms. Johns, is it not governed out of the state of California, sir? He goes, yes, but that's not. He goes, no. That was the answer. The answer was yes, it is governed out of the state of California.
So go file your lawsuit.
So there. He goes, and beyond that, did Ms. Johns put in an arbitration clause in this contract that your clients did in fact sign, Mr. Stanfield? He says, yes. He goes, and did you attempt any arbitration with Ms. Johns or her company or any representatives of? And he said, no, sir. He goes, well, then I'm sorry, case dismissed. Ms. Johns, I hope you have a nice trip home.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, I love it.
Now they've tried to file to reopen it, but the judge has not, and I don't think he will. And if he does, I feel like I'm prepared at this point. I did an entire breakdown of the case, the contracts, everything like that, very calmly on my YouTube channel, where I walk you through all the evidence. We're the Good Wives Network.
Good Wives Network.
Yeah, it used to be Murder by Design, but now when we moved from just being solely true crime into wanting to be a more comprehensive company, we changed it to Good Wives Network.
Okay, well, congratulations.
Yeah, our original podcast was the Good Wives Guide to True Crime. Was like a tongue-in-cheek kind of like we're murderous housewives. That was kind of like our little funny
that's
thing.
Pretty dope.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm glad that everything worked out in your favor, and I'm glad that you finally, got a chance to really get it out in front of mainstream. So we're happy. Like we don't chop and screw here. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
And so this is your story. You have a right to sell it. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, when I heard the pregnancy news with Gypsy Rose and everything like that, I was like, Lord Jesus, this baby is the baby died.
I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, but it's okay. Listen, it's okay. You literally unwind so much.
Well, the baby though is really important to me. Can I
go
have
ahead?
a
Go
minute?
ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Because the baby.
I didn't want you to think I was stretching you for your time.
No,
go ahead.
The baby though changed things for me even. Okay. So I had said, I'm not talking about her anymore. I'm done. I don't want to participate in this bullshit that she's got going on now. I don't want to do that. And then the baby came, the baby announcement came, and I knew the baby announcement was coming. I already had heard it confirmed through a couple pretty reliable sources, but those reliable sources are only as good as Gypsy Rose is telling them. So could there not be a pregnancy still? There could not be a pregnancy still. Is there a pregnancy? I don't know. But what this means for the baby. So when you have a person who is denying their own medical history and their own medical ailments and refusing to get treated for the things that she truly does have, you're putting your life and your baby's life in risk. You didn't do any genetic counseling to find out what the ramifications that this child could go through. So we're either going to see a repeat, like you're saying, that baby's going to be in the hospital every day. I don't think so. I think what we're actually going to end up seeing is a child that is neglected and not taken to the doctor and not done all those things because she's going to try to deny that this child has the same disorder that she's denying herself.
That's a hell of an allegation.
It is. And it's scary though. This is not a baby being born into any type of real good, stable, loving situation. This is all bad. They do not have, these are not stable people. They are not people that are good at giving advice or guidance or any of those things. They've exhibited this many times now. So that's why I'm concerned for the baby. I'm concerned for Gypsy's health, because if she's denying her own health conditions, that can have a big effect on the baby and herself through this pregnancy. And it's scary. It's frightening. You know, people are like, well, she should be able to live her life, whatever. Yeah, but if you even look at the experts in Munchausen by proxy, they will 100% tell you that a person who has sustained that long, extensive amount of abuse should not be caring for any individual or in anything, not even a puppy, because of the predisposed nature to repeat these same patterns of behavior.
But the government want them all now. They say we can't get rid of none of them. They got a draft, they got to fulfill, and they need babies.
I know.
Yeah. So anything you want to say to Gypsy before we wrap this up? And we're going to link when you send us the link to your books, we're going to definitely put that out. I can't wait to read the transcripts and everything that you found yourself.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know, you have a right to tell your side too. Gypsy's out here telling her side. Why you can't tell your side?
Well, you know, my story became different when I became part of the story. I didn't want to do that. This was my first true crime case.
You were behind the scenes until the lawsuit.
Yeah, I was real green when I started this 8 years ago. I didn't know what I was doing. I had never interviewed a family like that. I just went on instinct alone. And I think I made a lot of great choices, but I think I made a lot of mistakes along the way. And I've learned. But people misinterpret my passion for hatred. I don't hate Gypsy. I don't hate Christy Blanchard. I don't hate any of them. I feel sorry for them because I feel like they were given an opportunity that they could have turned all of this around. And instead, all they've done is make a bigger circus of it. Honey, if you really want to just go live a quiet, simple life, then go do that. Stop running around on social media. Stop sending pictures to TMZ. Stop repairing on Good Morning America. Go live a quiet life. I assure you, the rest of us will have nothing else to talk about. Thank you. We will move on. And that's what I've done. I'm not going to talk about, you know, all the drama and all the bull crap. I don't want to talk about that stuff. That's not interesting to me. The case was interesting to me. The truth was interesting to me. I'm not obsessed with Gypsy Rose. I'm obsessed with the truth.
Okay.
You
And
know?
so basically you ain't got shit to say to her.
I really don't.
Okay.
I take your advice. Do the things that you should do. Okay? Look, it doesn't matter why you killed your mom anymore. That ship sailed. It doesn't matter. You have done nothing for the last 8 years to better yourself. Better yourself. Better
Shots
yourself.
fired. Shots fired.
Be better. You have an opportunity to be better, and you have not taken any opportunity to be better. And that's, I think, the biggest problem for those of us that aren't real supporters anymore. A lot of support has been lost. People that really loved and died and supported her have turned because of the behaviors that she is exhibiting currently. She has no good people around her. I think that Melissa Moore should be absolutely ashamed of herself for the way that she has portrayed this story, because I'm sorry, Lifetime is not doing her any favors in how they are editing, how they are portraying this story. It makes them all look like complete asshats. And I told you it was going to happen and you didn't listen to me. I mean, I straight up told them that the industry is mean and the industry is not forgiving, and that you think you're in today, but we all know how Heidi Klum says it. Today you're in and the next day you're out. It's a fickle business.
Well, listen, Fancy, I really appreciate you flying across, the United States.
Having me.
Anytime to come tell us your side and, enlighten us on what's going on. Can you let everybody know where they can follow you and, you know what I'm saying, subscribe to you?
For sure. You can find everything at thegoodwivesnetwork.com. We've got our blog, our YouTube is attached there and everything. But on all social medias, except for TikTok, it's at The Good Wives Net. So we're on Instagram, TikTok, a Facebook, YouTube. We're on Rumble, Twitch, all at The Good Wives Net.
Perfect.
I'm on TikTok. It's The Good Wives Net 2. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And I'll give you links to all that.
Please,
too.
and we're
Yep.
going to add that
Yep.
here. Thank you so much. I
Mhm.
really appreciate it. This was absolutely entertaining.
Oh,
I
thank
got to tell you, just to get the real story. You know what I'm saying? We're going to the streets. That's what I like. Look at that camera and just tell the winos, now you got to go for now.
I gotta go for now.
Because I believe you're going to be back on this platform.
I think I will too.
Okay.
I like it. Thank
I'm
you
a
for
wife
having
too.
me.
I'm a good wife and I drink wine.
Here we go. We got
Okay?
it, Tasha.
And just say bye.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And you can take that bottle now and finish
Oh.
it. It's yours. That is the gift for coming.
Oh,
so thank you.
so much.
Anytime. You had so much fun.
That was awesome.
I love it.
I was a little worried because I was
Why?
because, you know,
I know it's controversial.
No, not you.
Okay.
It's me.
Yeah,
I get so.
All right. So there we have it. That was my interview with Tasha K. I don't, I'm sorry. Hopefully she's not upset that I played it since it's my interview. And if the idea was to get it out here, get my story out there, share my story on a big platform. So I hope that she is okay with this. I would like to suggest that all of you go over and follow Tasha K, subscribe to her feed if you so choose. It's a $12 a month thing for you to be able to see all of her interviews. And I think that you guys should do that. I think she's got some great content and I'm sure I will be back as a guest. So, so it would be beneficial for you to do so. But anyway, what did you guys think? Amy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Fancy. My God. I feel like you did such a good job. That was one of the best interviews I have seen.
Thank you.
Just an awesome job.
I was
When you are focused and you're talking with somebody and you're not having to worry about the comments and everything, girl, you slayed that interview. You slayed it.
Thank you.
100%. I'm so proud of you. So many people in chat are saying it too, girl. I'm telling you. Facts come out, you're just, yeah.
Thank you.
I couldn't be more proud. You represented yourself and your company very, very, girl, you slayed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I went into that interview.
So I'm beaming right now.
I went into that interview really cautious. I had heard some things. I had been told that Tasha had been sued by, like Cardi B. And she even told me beforehand that Kevin Hart's assistant was on there and Kevin sued her and tried to tell her to take down the content. And she was like, oh, fuck no, I'm not taking down the content. Hell no. And I was worried, I was just a little worried because I didn't know if I was walking into a lion's den or if I was walking into a friendly park.
And I think in that aspect is how you two connected because she's stand-up chick, man.
Yeah.
I don't take no shit.
She doesn't.
You're the same way.
She doesn't.
No one.
Right. And a lot of people say that, normally she's not shocked by anything anyone says, but apparently, they said they could see her face and they could see that she was shocked by some of the things I was saying that, she didn't know.
Yeah, she was. I liked her. I really, really liked her.
Blue, yes. Okay, I would be stupid not to be cautious. Am I afraid? No. I'm not afraid.
You can't live your life.
I can't live my life that way. I can't live my life and think that I'm not going to tell the truth about things because I'm scared and because they're going to hurt me or bully me or any of those things. If I were to live my life like that, I would say nothing about anything ever, and I would live as a stooge in this world that has been created for us with no say in it whatsoever, and I don't believe that. So no, am I a cautious? Sure. I said it. I've said it. I've said it on the podcast. I'm not 500 pounds. I'm not Dee Dee Blanchard, and I'm always packing. Is that a threat? No, that's a promise. If I feel threatened, if I feel like my life is in danger, I am going to defend myself. Pure and simple. That's it.
And you're licensed and everything else.
Right. And I'm licensed. I'm working on a PI. I'm working on getting my PI license. Like there's a lot of things I'm doing to make sure that I can protect myself for what I'm doing, but yeah, they can't keep going around bullying people. You're right, Roma. Exactly. And they are. And they are trying to change history. They are trying to change the narrative. And I'm not going to allow it. Like, I don't have to stand here and talk about it every day because I don't now. There's a lot of you talking about it. A lot of you are sharing the story. The truth is out there. They can no longer stop this train. It's coming. You know, and thank you guys. Thank you for joining my team. Thank you for all of those things. I appreciate you guys so much with it. You know, but like I said, you know, I feel like right now I've made as much of a statement as I want to. Yeah, like I've done all the work. There's hundreds of videos on our YouTube channel. There's tons and tons of blogs that Christina and I and Colleen have all written. There are, you know, there's hundreds of videos and our podcast. Now our podcast is down right now. We have taken it down. The book is coming out on the 26th. It will have the original transcripts from the podcast from 2019. There is a lot in there that Mac and I and Colleen all went through and looked at and decided whether or not we felt certain things should be included or not because they were wrong. And I stood on my laurels of I felt like it really needed to be an accurate portrayal of what we thought in 2019 because I do believe that it shows our journey to truth. It shows our growth. It shows where we started. It shows how we felt. And it also shows how just one lie changed an entire narrative. And in that case, the lie was she has no long-lasting effects. We went into that podcast with that belief. We couldn't, you know, I didn't agree with what Gypsy was doing. I did know that she was scamming with her mom. I did know all of those things. Okay. I knew all of that. I was right on those things. But what I did not know was that she did have long-lasting effects, and that changes the story completely. So I villainized Dee Dee and I villainized Nick, and I shouldn't have. I didn't do enough research on that, and that's my bad. You know, I have to own that. I have to accept the fact that I played a role in making the narrative of this story not what it was the truth. I played a role in creating villains in Nicholas and in Dee Dee where they do not need to be villainized. And I said things that weren't nice. And I have to live with the fact that I said those things.
But that was with the information
that I had at the time. Yep.
We have learned so much more.
Right. I mean, like I said, in the 8 years, I could have done this any point in time. Like if I wanted to produce a project that I wanted to produce, I could have filmed it myself, edited it myself. I had resources. I had criminologists. I had death investigators. I had all of those things. I could have gone to any one of them at any time and made this in an indie film setting. That's fine. I don't even mind doing that. Like it was never about getting it to a major thing or getting so much money or clout or fame or followers or any of those things. That's what everybody else wants. All I ever wanted to do was make sure that when I told the story, I told the story accurately and correctly and truthfully. And I rushed to get that podcast out. We were being attacked every day. We were being told every day that we did not have the information that we had, that we did not have the medical records, that we did not have the case files, that we did not do the interviews that we had done. You know, and so right, I didn't even have, I had only seen the interrogation recently, you know, like I didn't have the information. But I was being so vilified and attacked all the time for defending them originally. And then I got vilified and attacked for not defending them by the other side that I rushed to get that podcast out. And if I had not rushed to get the podcast out, there wouldn't be as much misinformation coming from our side as there is. Like I rushed just like every other person rushed. And I realized in that moment that being first is not always the best. Being first is first. Being accurate and correct, that's not always first. So, you know, I feel like a chapter is being closed. It's been hard. It's been one that I didn't want to let go of. It's one that has caused much strife, but also much growth.
A lot of growth, girl. A lot.
And so I just think that we're finally at the point of truth. Like now I feel like with all the information we have all the pieces now. Could the autopsy help? Yeah, the autopsy would help a lot. To know exactly what went down and what time it went down, and did it go down on the 9th, or was it the 7th, or was it the 10th? Was it because of stab wounds, or was it because of whatever? There's so many things the autopsy could tell us, but I do believe that with what we have, the crime scene photos and the information that we do have, I think with the right professional team that we can finally give answers that we didn't have before. The chromosome disorder just gave me peace in that I knew I wasn't wrong. I knew this was not an MVP case. I didn't know why. I'm not an expert in Munchausen by proxy. I feel like I kind of am now. But when I started, I wasn't. I just went, this doesn't feel right. Nothing about this feels right. I don't see it like any other case that I've looked at that's MVP.
Piece of the puzzle that just didn't fit, you know?
It just didn't. It didn't fit. So people are asking me about the baby again, and Mac and I are working on an actual produced piece on that, guys. I would like to do that instead of just speaking about it willy-nilly. I can tell you this. Yes, there is a good chance. There is a 50% chance that this baby could have the chromosome disorder. That's on a general level, okay? That's basic general level. There is a 50% chance. Do I regret interviewing without a crystal ball? That was awful. She was so ignorant to you. No, I don't. I actually don't regret interviewing with her because she showed me exactly what they are and who they are and who she is. So no, I feel like everything that ever happened in this whole thing for the last 8 years has been a learning experience to bring us to the truth. I do. And so, I truly believe that we can get the answers that we've always wanted. Now that we have all the pieces. I think for a long time we were missing pieces, big pieces, the chromosome disorder being one of them. Because no matter how many times we looked at those medical files, no matter how many times we went over them, and we did, in 8 years, we have all looked at them a million fucking times. And I can believe that the one little piece of information, thinking that she did not have long-lasting effects, clouded our judgment on what we were looking at. It changed how we looked at the documents. And now that I know this, I can now go back and go, oh, well, we were questioning the ear problems and saying that she must have been held down and a Q-tip or something inserted into her ear. Okay, do you know where that comes from? We didn't make that up. We didn't just come with that out of nowhere, okay? What that is in the Lacey Spears case, that is exactly what she was doing to her son and to other children that had been in her care prior to her having a child. She was perforating their eardrum and causing that. So that's why we were so adamant about it. Like, oh my God, and it's happening all the way up until she's 14, 15 years old, because kids generally grow out of this with tubes and everything as little children. My daughter had it taken care of at 6, and she should have had it taken care of before that, but the doctors weren't doing anything, so I kept not understanding, how are these doctors doing all this stuff with no fucking reason? Like, it makes no sense to me. I just couldn't freaking fathom it because of my own experience with trying to get things done for my children or myself. We all know that doctors we fight with insurance companies and doctors all day long about what we need for our own health care. But yet this woman can just get thousands and thousands of things done to her kid for no reason. I couldn't understand it. Well, now I know why, because it was a lie. She wasn't doing that. The doctors are not at fault. The ones that I've called out are. Do I believe that there are doctors that participated in the fraud? Yeah, 100%. Yep. And I've called them out by name. And Do I believe that there is a chance that, everything Dee Dee said, even the chemo at 5 or having cancer or any of that, is there a possibility that it's all true? Yeah, there's a possibility it's all true. There is an absolute possibility that everything Dee Dee said was ever wrong with Gypsy was actually wrong. I don't have the records to prove at 5 years old that she did or did not have cancer.
Yeah, we don't know anything before that.
I don't have that. What I can tell you is that throughout her testing, throughout her career, her medical history, there are times that her platelets are off. Could that be caused by the chromosome disorder? Yes. Could it be a blood disorder that is causing a blood disease? Yes. Could it be cancer at some point in time? Could it have been leukemia? Sure. But what I can say without a certainty is that I believe at all times Dee Dee was properly trying to care for her child, a sick child, a child with real conditions, and she was possibly utilizing that and embellishing that,
of course,
for financial gain. Labs show medication wasn't taken. Actually, Susie, it shows that the levels are off at certain times, but it does not show that the medications were not being taken. I don't know whether or not she has actual epilepsy or not, because no one's actually seen her have a full seizure. It's always been at home, and she's always gone to the hospital later or not at all. So exactly, it is probably why she bruises so easy.
Could be.
Yeah. So the baby, which you guys are asking, is about, what is the probability? So I started in with that. The baby, there is a probability of 50% chance that this baby would have this. That's on a general level. That's not considering their family tree. It's not considering the fact that all three of her siblings have the markers for this. It's not considering that we can look at great grandma, or grandma. No, great grandma. It's great grandma that I did in the picture today. The picture I put out, that's actually great grandma. It's not Rob's mother, it's his grandmother. And it is the one that they said that had the high palate, the high squeaky voice, the short stature. And if you look at her face,
that's Gypsy in 60 years.
Exactly. Exactly.
Truly. Looks just like her.
Gypsy herself said she wasn't taking medicine. She pretended to in front of Dee Dee. Now that I can believe, because it fits with her not wanting to be sick. I truly, truly believe she has a psychosis that she is unable to accept the fact that she is indeed sick. I believe that she is in denial. I think it is a lot of why she chose to unalive her mother. Because I think that her mother would not allow her to be the well kid that she wanted to be. She was always going to she was always going to tell her the truth. And the truth was, you're very sick, and you probably shouldn't have children, and you probably shouldn't get married, and you probably shouldn't do these things because they're not going to be healthy for you. Regardless of the baby, take the baby out of it. With the problems that Gypsy has health-wise, she should be heavily monitored. It would be a very high risk pregnancy. And just like Shelby in Steel Magnolias, the doctors probably said it's not suggested, but they didn't say that she can't get pregnant. They said that she shouldn't get pregnant. There's a difference. And she sits here and says that she's not going to take, she's not going to put the baby in the public eye, but she's already put the baby in the public eye. She's already done that. She's already putting the baby in the public eye. She's already asking for gifts for the baby. She's already complaining about how people are responding to the baby, all these things. And she says, she goes on Good Morning America and she says she's going to do all the things for her baby that her mother never did for her. Well, I'd sure like to know what those things are, because from what we can tell, the entire time your mother was a loving mother to you, gave you anything and everything you absolutely wanted, spoiled the fuck out of you, which she shouldn't have done. That makes her, that makes her a mom that didn't do the things she should have done, for sure. But she thought she was doing the right thing for her sick kid. You have to think about the fact that Dee Dee knew all the time that she was actually sick, and not just sick physically. I believe Dee Dee knew she was sick mentally. She was scared of her. She had tried to take her life. She was, she was out of control. She was running around all over the place. Right.
Think about that.
Right.
Think about the balls it would take to do something like that to your own mother. Like, what the hell?
I don't know, Pink 674. I don't know if it increases the chances of the chromosome disorder if it's a girl. What I can tell you is from what I am seeing, the girls are much more affected in this family than the men. I don't know why. I don't know the etiology of it. I don't know enough about the chromosome disorder to really speak on that. That is something that we're hoping to find out. Our goal is to now run, medical tests and scientific studies in the area, and with this this complete disorder to better understand it, because I really feel like since it's become a part of a huge national case, this is an opportunity for us to be able to look into this kind of thing and figure out what it is and why it happens and what is going on. And is there a way for us to stop this? Is there a way that we can make sure that if the baby is predisposed to certain things mentally or physically, is there anything we can do? Can we be proactive in this? That's what I want to know. Long, yeah, the intent, live long, this the intent, that's the intestine. Oh yeah, no, I like that. Dee Dee probably never knew that GRB would live long. That's the intent spoiling. I think that's exactly it. She told everybody, she told Rod, she told the neighbors, she told everybody that that she was not normal, that she would not live a normal life expectancy, and she was never going to be like other people. All true. All true. All true. So, exactly. I don't know why her family goes along with it. It's very frightening because they are allowing her to be delusional. Completely 100% delusional.
Yeah, they are.
Cool stuff, Savvy. I really wish people would stop saying that. I do not wish for this baby to grow up and repeat her mother's deeds. I don't. That's horrible to say. I think that's terrible to wish that on that baby. The baby already has a hard enough life coming in front of it than to saddle it with some shit like that. I don't think that is.
This is what Gypsy has done to her mother alone. I mean, this poor kid, I'm telling you, I feel bad for when it goes to school because it's not going to be nice. It's not.
No. And
that's just the sad truth. You know that you're not.
We're watching history repeat itself, and we're standing by going, well, we're just going to watch this happen again, and nobody's going to do anything this time either. That's the thing. Like, this family is not equipped for this. This should explain this even more. They weren't equipped for Gypsy. They did not know how to care for her, take care of her, give her anything. Christy and Rod didn't even want to be bothered to care for a freaking sick child because, remember, we didn't ever fight Dee Dee for any custody because I didn't know what I would do at night if she had a seizure or whatever. So you don't want to be a mom. That's what you're saying to me. Oh, you don't want to be a parent. You don't want to take care of a child that's sick. Oh, I see. Okay. So you just didn't want to do it. You didn't want to have to take care of the sick child. Just leave that for Dee Dee to do. She's a single mom and has no job or anything, but that's just fine. We're just going to leave it all on Dee Dee, all on her to raise this child.
I just don't understand why so much for little time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I understand she's 32, but girl, give yourself a chance. Get out. Like you said to Tasha, if you want to have a normal life, then have a normal life. Stop getting on social media. Stop clapping back at people.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you can't have it both ways.
No, you can't.
You truly
you can't. You can't have it both ways. And Mystic, I just played it. So you can see the whole thing here on our platforms. Wherever you're watching, you can watch it. I just played the whole thing. So you'll get to watch it. Okay. Yes, exactly. Christy is the main one keeping her delusional. Exactly.
Yeah, that was not a good look for Christy. Yeah, keeping in touch with Ken and just totally inserting herself in there. I mean, that was not a good look.
No.
Not at all.
No, and I feel like this baby, there's so many questions about the baby. There people are like, "Why are you harping on the baby?" Well, I'm not. I'm not harping on the baby. In fact, I feel complete compassion for this child. I hope that this child grows up loved and taken well care of. Do I think that's going to happen in this family? I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible with the people that are inside of this family to do that. I don't. I'm sorry. We have seen what they have raised, and we have seen what they have done, and they are not doing a damn thing to help her to be a better person, to be a good mom, to be a good wife, to be anything. They are allowing her to continue with her delusions and the fact that she is not sick. And I really think that that's the biggest part of this. She's in denial, and Dee Dee was never going to let her deny it, and so Dee Dee had to go because Christy will. Because Christy doesn't care. She just wants money.
I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, their intelligence level to me seems. I mean, Gypsy says sunset at sunrise, and nobody even corrected her. So what does that tell you? Did they all freaking think it was sunset? Like, for real?
Mm-mm.
You know, it's things like that. I'm just like, come on now.
Exactly, Roma Armour. Ryan tried to give her a normal life, and she was bored. She needs the chaos. It's exactly it. She thrives on the chaos. She has been raised in the chaos, so she thrives on it. And the baby, this baby, if there is a baby, is there a possibility there's no baby? 100%. She's pulled this before. She pulled it on Nicholas. So yes. Do I think that the baby is likely Ryan's? I do. If there's a baby, I believe it's Ryan's baby. I think either plan B didn't work, or she didn't actually take it, or what have you. But I think it's a setup, and I think this is the scenario that I'm seeing happen from it. I'm seeing, hi guys. I'm seeing this as, if it's Ryan's baby, then the timeline is seriously destroyed, right? Of how this happened, how this baby was conceived, right? So if it's Ryan's, we have a totally destroyed timeline. So if this baby is born, which I would think in November or December, which is what I would think is the timeline, to be honest with you, based on what I know, and the times that Ken was there and not there, and what was going on, and all of those things, I believe that this baby will be born in November or December, and they will try to play off any medical conditions as a result of that child being prematurely born instead of having a chromosome disorder. That's what I'm saying. Now, is that going to happen? I don't know, but I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, we won't know.
That's what I think is happening. So that's just my thought process based on the timeline of events that we've seen, what I think is happening. And then my other thought process is, I don't think there is a baby. I think that I think that she's lying. I mean, we can't take anything she ever says as truthful. So you have to look at everything.
Who needs 6 strollers? Why do you need 6 strollers?
No, why do you need 6 strollers? Exactly. And if you're going to sit here and say that everybody was just sending you horrible freaking messages when you sold out your thing the first time, why load it 2 more times?
And say that it's a practical joke. If somebody's harassing you, you don't call it a practical joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's something a friend does to you.
And here's the thing with the fertility drugs. Okay. And we're going to talk about this lots more with more educated information. I've been doing research, Mac's been doing research, so we're trying to get all of that together for you guys, because I want to give you a real educated, look at what does this mean? What are we looking at? What is unethical in this? What is ethical? So here's where I feel like ethics would have been a big problem for me. She claims that she went to see a fertility doctor. And so first of all, she's saying she wasn't trying to get pregnant and it was an accident, but yet she's going to a fertility doctor, and this fertility doctor is then telling her that she needs to take fertility treatments because her fertility is low. Well, if we believe the timeline of events that she's 11, 12, 13 weeks pregnant now, I'm saying, I guess 13 weeks at this point, right? Because it's been 2 weeks. So 13 weeks. If she's 13 weeks pregnant, then how did the fertility doctor not know that she was pregnant? How are they saying that she had low fertility, and low egg count if I don't understand. Did they not do any testing? Did they not see if she was pregnant? I don't know. And beyond that, it's unethical based on very many factors for a fertility doctor to approve fertility treatments for someone like her. Okay. It has nothing to do with the schmurder. It has nothing to do with the, the mental capacity, nothing. You take all that out, and all of that is concerning, but you take all of that out. She has a chromosome disorder, correct? That chromosome disorder is predisposed to have specific conditions that this child could have, such as microcephaly, which there are instances of the babies being born so severely damaged and so severely defective that they don't last past a couple hours. That is the fact of the matter. This is what this disorder can have ramifications of. So a fertility drug doctor should never have suggested any type of fertility treatments, because those come with their own set of possible birth defects that they can cause. You can have a multiple birth. You can have, a stillbirth. You can have problems with your children. Your children can come out deformed. There's all kinds of things that come along with fertility treatments that already put you at a risk. And then you add in the chromosome disorder and all the other bullshit and all the freaking actual disorders she has. And there's no reason, there is no ethical freaking doctor on the earth that should be, oh, is that the word I used to describe a newborn baby? Defective? That's not what I said, Soulshine, and you know it. What I said was it could have defects, birth defects. Do you understand those words? They're actual real clinical terms. Birth defects. Dumb fuck. Thank you. Chromosome disorder. That explains all the special needs kids that come from IVF. Exactly. It is a known disorder that she has. Based on that, no fertility doctor should ethically be advising her to take fertility drugs that could possibly cause birth defects or any type of issues for her child. Period. The end. That's it. There's no more questions about it. There's no question. None. It can, but it does not necessarily.
Still, but if she's asymptomatic,
Yep.
that doesn't matter. There could still be a large possibility for her baby to make a jump from asymptomatic to very symptomatic.
Yeah, I know the jig is up that you all knew what I meant, but I wanted to clarify that because you know what? Ignorance is things that cause the misinformation in this. Yes, they're trying to say that I said the baby was defective, a newborn baby. That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
Having birth defects and being defective are
Right.
two different things.
Right. And I'm not going to allow ignorance like that to stand. Sorry. I just won't. It's not me angry. They're not getting under my skin. I'm not upset. I'm not unhinged. I'm being very factual and very honest about this. And the fact of the matter is that there are certain birth defects the baby could be born with. What'd you say, Amy? Willfully ignorant. Exactly. That's the term. Willfully ignorant. Willfully ignorant.
Like people just pop off and it's like, okay, obviously you didn't pay attention, so why are you in my life?
Right.
About it, you know?
Right. So, I already put the live Kitsy. That's already been done. We played it in the beginning of this. Okay. So, yes, I do think that CPS could be called because of criminal background to make child safe. I do think that could be a possibility. Yes. I also think that based on her chromosome disorder and her denial of her medical history, that CPS should be involved with that. Somebody asked me earlier what I think is going to happen if the baby has these types of maladies that she has. And I believe that we're watching it right now. I believe that there is a denial, and that if this child has any type of actual problems, physically, mentally, whatever, there's going to be a continuous denial. That's what I think is going to happen.
She needs to take it serious. If she's truly pregnant, she needs to take her chromosomes. She needs to take it serious.
You know, Mystic, I don't really care about the divorce laws and the pregnancy. Okay, I really don't. I don't. And that's not my fight. That's why I don't have a dog in that case. I don't care. I understand that it basically is Ryan's until a paternity test is done. I think that they don't want to get the paternity test because it's going to prove exactly what I've said it's going to prove. But allegedly, in my opinion, for entertainment and educational purposes only. But I do think that there is, I care. No. Do I think it's crap if Ryan is paying for her medical care while she's pregnant with someone else's baby that she cheated on him with? Yeah, I think that's some bullshit. But everything they do is bullshit. So I don't want to talk about their bullshit because it's bullshit.
Right, it is.
You know?
If she is pregnant, she's only doing it so that she can stay relevant because she knows people are stopping to talk are starting to stop talking about.
Mystic, I don't know.
That's my opinion. That's not connected with your business.
No, that's just your opinion.
Personal opinion.
Personal opinion from Abby. Exactly. All I care about is the child's safety. Yeah, I'm on I'm on YouTube, Rumble, and Twitch right now. Girls Fly Better. So I feel like there's never going to be ending drama with this family. They're always going to be in the spotlight. They're always going to be trying to get their piece of the pie, and it is not lost on me at all that she is using this baby as a way to stay relevant right now. That's what Abigail said. She feels that if there is a baby, it's because of relevancy. I want you guys to think about the timeline. Okay, Andrea, that documentary is coming. I want you guys to think about the timeline. Okay. Right. Lifetime wanted her to, like Amy said. Lifetime wanted a baby story. And on top of that, both her, Ken, and Ryan all said that they were not continuing Life After Lockup past this first season. They weren't going to continue Prison Confessions past the first 2 seasons that they have. They had nothing scheduled for them to be filming in 2025. And then a baby came along.
And they wrote him out.
And they wrote out Ryan and they put in Ken. And now we have a baby. Sounds like they're trying for a second season. I mean, I'm just saying. Or, I don't know if there's a show that's like moms who murdered their mom who has babies. I mean, maybe that's a new show they're going to create. I mean, it's new era. It is a new fucking genre of things. We've never had this before. Like we've never had this before. And I just think that
pretty much get away with murder and make your crumbs out of money.
Schmurderous mothers. Yes, exactly, Kaya. Yes. Right. Evil lived here. Exactly. Oh, Alejandra. That is my favorite one. Did you know that's my favorite one? I love Evil Lives Here. And is that not the creepiest freaking opener ever? I love it. I can't watch the opener if I'm home alone at night. I can't watch the opener. The stories don't bother me, but the opener creeps me out. Yeah. Look, guys, here's the thing. Did Tasha K help me? Absolutely. Is it going to help me get back out there where I was before? Yeah. People know who I am. The media knows who I am. They all know who I am. They've all talked to me. They know. In Touch knows me. Oxygen knows me. A&E knows me. Discovery knows me. All of them. HLN knows me. They all follow me. So it's not like I'm not known or that the story that I've said is not out there. They are willfully choosing to ignore the truth. So, and that's the thing. So, I mean, what else do you want to talk about? Because I'm still kind of a little chatty here. It's not too late yet.
Saying about the murderous mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's another concern I have for the baby. When they start to go to school, you know, other mothers may say, hey, I don't want my kid in a class with her
Right.
kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though we know the child has nothing to do with what she did, other people aren't working that way. It's so, it's just not a good idea. It's just not a good idea.
The jig is up. I was not in Mommy Dead and Dearest. I was in A&E's special, Killer Cases season 1 episode 6, and I was on the Reels channel, Copycat Killers, where they, yeah. So I was not in Mommy Dead and Dearest. I was not. But it's old enough to learn the truth. Exactly. That's exactly my fear. And she had told me she was never going to tell her children anything about what happened to their grandmother.
No.
You're literally setting your child up to fail.
Yeah.
To be bullied, harassed, fail, all of it.
Yeah.
Courtney Ray, I don't know if Ryan is related to Dee Dee. To be honest with you, there's a lot of that going on down there with this family, so I don't know. You know, I do too. I think that Tasha K was a good move, and I think she reaches everyone, and she gave me a whole new platform, and I thank her for that. I appreciate what she did, and I think that it's the beginning of actually getting the truth out there. The mainstream media cannot ignore this much longer. They just can't. They can't. They think they can. And they're hoping that it will all die down and everybody will stop looking into it. But I'm sorry. I've started a movement of people looking for the truth, and it can't be stopped now.
No. Nope. Too many people know the truth now.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah, it's one of the Gypsy documentaries, but I wasn't in the one you thought. Yeah. Leave, she's going to be jealous of the baby getting so much attention and give the baby to Rod and Christy or Mia. I do. I agree with you, Cool Stuff Savvy. I think so.
I agree with that too.
Yep. Reels channel, Copycat Killers. I think you can find it on YouTube now. It's been out for so long. I don't think they ever actually released it. Maybe they did, but it took years. Like, what happened was the producer that filmed that and did the interview with me and Mia and Christy for the Reels channel, she left the company after that, and so the project wasn't finished yet. So they weren't sure they were ever going to run it, and now, you know, now it's out there, and I wish it wasn't, because that was when I was so immersed in the lies, you know. But again, it shows the journey to the truth. It shows you how easily these people can manipulate intelligent people, educated people into believing their stories. I mean, they've got Munchausen by proxy experts signing off on this. They have got a psychologist or a psychiatrist or psychoanalyst, whatever the hell that guy was, signing off on this, when she's literally lying to him in the freaking thing. Like, she lies to him in the documentary, in the clip that they put out, and they knew she was lying, and then he still sits there and evaluates her based on those lies.
If anybody can sit and watch that interrogation video with her and honestly say that I just can't. I really, I mean, the interrogation video to me tells me everything I need to know about her. He not one time said anything about abuse. Not one, or, you know, sorry, can't say that.
Yeah, and you know, Girls Fly Better, I have watched some of Becca's things, and I think she's doing a lovely job, but no, I don't actually converse with her. To be honest with you, I don't converse with a lot of creators. I don't have a lot of time. I don't have time to go watch everyone else's stuff, especially if it's just shit about me. I don't care to watch any of that, because those fuckers don't have anything right. So why would I bother watching lies about me when I know the truth? But to be honest with you, I don't watch a whole lot on this, because I don't like to get other people's opinions into my head and cloud my analysis of things. So I don't really talk with a lot of other content creators, and every time I have felt like it has not done me service, it has done them service, you know. And so I'm just kind of like at this point where I've put the information out there, do what you will with it, and then I'm just going to make my projects and move on. I have many other things I want to talk about, you know. I've talked about this for 8 years. I don't really have a whole lot more to say. Like, I want to sit down with professionals and look at this case piece by piece in my documentary. That's what we're talking about doing, is taking each piece of evidence in our documentary and looking at it with professionals in the fields of, you know, specific things that need to be advised on, and letting them help us evaluate what we're really looking at. And that's what we're going to put out. It's our 7-year journey to truth. That's where we're at. You know, I do think that Becca's doing a wonderful job, and I applaud her for how she's doing it, you know.
Very well put together, yeah.
I think it's very well put together. It's very well put together, and I know that takes a lot of time. You know, when we used to do produced content, trust me, I spent more time in the editing room than I ever did creating content. Like, you know, that takes hours and hours. For a 1-hour show that they put together, you've probably spent at least 10 hours in the studio fucking working on that. And that's with, you know, graphics and putting things inside there and, you know, adding the clips and the different things. It takes a long time. And so I kind of got away from that for a while because I wanted the information out there quickly, and I wanted you guys to hear it, you know, as raw as possible. You know, and I've done that, and I've given you everything I could give you. So, you know,
You've done a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. Don't get me wrong. I was so green when I started this shit. I had no idea what I was doing.
But God bless the broken road.
Right.
I mean, really, it brings you where you are today.
Yeah. Right. These points in her life were so traumatic more than any others, and she obviously knows how old she was. Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. You guys are talking about this thing that she said, you know, she made this comment about how she's stuck at 10 and 16 years old because of trauma. Right? Right? That's what you guys are talking about. In my opinion, that is a horse shit. That's horse shit. I mean, that's my technical term for it.
Trauma at
Horse
that
shit.
age.
Okay, first of all, there's some things with that. She can clearly tell you exact times that things happened to her. She has an exact time. I was 5 when this happened. I was 10 when this happened. I was what, right? She's able to do that. If she's able to do that, then how can we possibly believe that she didn't know how old she was? So if we can't possibly believe that she didn't know how old she was, then how can we possibly believe that it actually happened?
Right.
We can't. We can't say that it didn't happen unless we find proof that nothing happened, which so far I have found no proof that at any time in her life anything tragic was ever happening other than the fact that she was a sick fucking kid who went to the doctor. That's it. That's all I know. Do I believe that anything happened to her at 10 or 16 to freaking, you know, stunt her? No. I believe that what we are looking at, okay, is the results of the mental and developmental delays associated with her chromosome disorder. That's it. She has no proof that anything has ever happened to her, ever one time, that was not supposed to happen. She has no proof that she was medically child abused. In fact, the records showed otherwise. She has no proof that she was SA'd by anyone. She has no proof that she was physically or emotionally abused by anyone. And they all lie. The entire family, the Petrie side and the Blanchard side. So with that being said, I don't think that there is anything that is doing this to her other than what she was already predisposed to have happened to her. And I believe that she was born the way that she is, and nurture continued to heighten the problems she already had. That's my opinion. Yes, exactly. She was at the doctor so much they would have seen signs of abuse. Exactly. What?
Girls Fly Better asked if you think Ryan will ever come to terms with the truth.
I'm not sure about Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay, there's one part of me that thinks he is a part of this. He chose to be a part of this. He knew what crazy he was getting involved with, and he chose to do it, and he fully supported her. He encouraged it. He told her narrative. He sat there and said that Nicholas was the aggressive person and that he was abusive and all of those things. He went on national television and said all the things he said about how she was this and she was that. And I don't know if that is he truly believes those things because he's that fucking naive, because he does not have a history with dating women or anything like that before. He admits that she's his first,
He had a couple
relationships, but they were not physical, and she was his first, and the whole thing. Exactly. Okay. So I don't know if he is part of this and he is just playing along with the storyline because he knew it was going to be the storyline the entire time. Because if Lifetime has been plotting a baby storyline the entire time, it's likely that he knew about it.
And it really sucks that we even have to question it.
Yeah.
But we have to question it. I don't trust anyone in this. None of them. Not one single.
Not one single one of them. And so, do I think that Ryan will eventually come to the truth? Possibly, if he doesn't already know it. Mm-hmm. If he truly is in love with her and believes it hook, line, and sinker, yes, I do think eventually the truth will come out, and I do think that eventually he will admit that it was a scam. I think that eventually he'll see all that. Okay. Because I think that he was a very convenient piece of the puzzle for her. He was good on paper. He was in the right area. He was unassuming. He wasn't some hottie or, some guy that's going to be, he's insecure so she can control him. I really, truly believe that could be the situation. But
let's say, if Gypsy's interested in you in any capacity, there's a reason why.
There's a reason why.
There's a reason why.
It's what she can get from you, not what she can do for you.
Look what she did to Ryan. Look what she did to Rachel.
Right.
I mean, she just uses people and then burns them. I mean, really.
What's normal? Could you please tell me what you think is the abuse in this? I'd really love to know. I'm not being shitty. I really want to know what you think is the abuse, because I could make a case for a level of abuse. Okay. But then you would have to make that case for any mafia child, any crime family child, and any child that's ever been taught to con or grift. So if you make that excuse for her and you call that abusive, and I'm not saying it's not, I'm just saying then you'd have to make that distinction for everyone, and it doesn't make her special. It doesn't mean that it absolves her of her crimes, her behaviors, or any of that. So
you grow up in a family that's in the mafia, okay?
Yep.
Seriously. She doesn't know anything about anything. I mean, seriously. And come on now, they're not going out going, well, I'm gonna off my dad because, he passed this down to me.
Okay, so here we go. What's normal? You said that it's abusive that she used Rose for money. It's abusive that she used her daughter for money. So is it also abusive for Jamie Lynn Spears and Britney Spears' mother to use them for money? Is it wrong for all of the child actors to be used for money because their parents all get money from them doing their jobs? She was a paid actress to do exactly what she was told to do, sit in a chair and pretend to be something she was not. If you think that's abusive, then again, you have to consider that every child actor ever was being abused. So, yes, it's unhealthy for sure. Okay. Should she have been taught to be an honest person and do an honest day's work and be a good human being? For sure. Is that abuse? I'm not quite sure. That's a gray area.
I'm not saying Dee Dee was right, but I feel like it was desperate times, desperate measures type situation.
Her daughter, I also want you to understand what's normal. Her daughter benefited from all of that as well. It wasn't just Dee Dee. If Dee Dee was just taking Gypsy out there and doing all of this stuff, and then she was just taking all the money and spending it on herself and buying designer clothes and going on vacations when her daughter is stuck at home in a wheelchair by herself and, and abusing her all over the place and all that, then absolutely, you're 100%. I would totally agree with you. However, Gypsy benefited more than her mother ever did from all of those things. She was given anything and everything she wanted. She was bought anything and everything she wanted. She, in her own words, I've never had to pay for a thing in my life, and she has not, and she still does not. So if you think that, then you have to sit there and think about the fact that she She is the one who benefited. She's who met the Harry Potter cast. She's who went backstage and became friends with Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton. She's who was on a millionaire's boat twice. She's who got to swim with the dolphins and all those trips to Disney World. So if you think that that is abusive, and you think that that is if you think that that is warranted for what she somehow is doing or has done, I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. And you are right, you can have your own opinion, but I don't agree with you. I do not believe it's abusive. I don't believe it's abusive, not in the way that you guys are trying to make it out to be. Let's be honest, okay? I'm going to be real honest right now. I don't believe there's a person on the face of this earth that at some point in time has not suffered some amount of abuse from a parent or a loved one. Parents are fallible. We make mistakes. We can be mean. We can make a mistake in how we handle a situation. We can do all of those things. However, telling a child to play a role, and that's all she did, for money and financial gain, in my opinion, is not abusive. It's wrong. It doesn't make her a good person, but it does not make her an abusive mother. In fact, I believe it makes her a non-abusive mother, because everything she did was because she truly did believe her child was going to live a very short life, and she still may. And she believed that she wanted to give her daughter everything that she could. And Gypsy willingly participated with it most of the entirety of the con.
And it's honestly, it's all perspective, because that's their way of life. That was their way of life.
That's their way of life. Exactly.
They didn't know anything else.
Exactly. So you can call it abusive, and I can see your case for why it would be abusive. I do understand where you're coming from.
Take a trip down there before you say that.
Right. I just, based on what I know of this case and everything else that I know about abuse, about being an abused child, about a mother who was a hypochondriac and had me in the hospital any freaking time I sneezed or coughed or, anything. If I said my stomach hurt, I was in a doctor's office. So I understand these things. Okay. I understand a controlling, overprotective mother. I do. But here's the other thing you don't know, and we don't know. In Louisiana, how much of it was actually fraud and how much of it was actually true? Because from what I can tell, the massive amount of fraud did not happen until they moved to Slidell. And that was when Gypsy was 12. That's when they got the first house that they were given, and they were given all the Discovery Cove shit and everything like that. And then at 14, when they moved to Louisiana or to Missouri, is when the fraud really began to be something that was prevalent. And it wasn't through treating her for things she did not have. It was through telling charities and individuals that she had these ailments and embellishing the ailments that she has. That's it. So, I'm sorry. I don't see it the way you see it. And that's my right. And that's your right. I do believe she is a full-blown narcissist. I do believe she's a narcissist. And I think that we are looking at nurture versus nature, and it's both.
What's upsetting to me is it's a slap in the face to people who really have had that kind of trauma.
Yes.
Who really have had parents who, whipped on them and, what have you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a slap in the face.
It is.
It's a slap in the face to people who really had cancer. It's a slap in the face to people who really had parents who, Munchausen by proxy. It's a slap in the face.
Right.
That's what bothers me too, like a lot.
And she manipulates it.
People are gonna, have had that situation.
Oh, absolutely.
And
They don't unalive their parents, and they don't act the way that she's behaving. Look, I was abused. So am I given a pass? Or do you guys all excuse me when I have bad behaviors? If I yell at you, or I freak out, or I have a triggering moment, do you all have compassion for me then? Do you all absolve me of it because I was abused and I'm just doing whatever it was that my mother taught me to do and I'm just reacting? No, you don't. Do you get that type of pass when in your lives for the trauma that you all have endured throughout your lives? No, you do not. You do
Did
not.
Go to Disney? I know I did.
No. I mean, it honestly, you know, yeah. So
You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to Disney, but
right.
like, well, you know, it's a slap in the face.
And yes, there is something that happened to Dee Dee. Her health did progress. Yes, exactly. She was sick. Dee Dee was sick as well. Right. People with BPD don't get excuses because they have BPD. Okay? They don't get to do that. People with bipolar disorder don't get to use their bipolar disorder as a reason for behaving like an asshat.
Absolutely not.
It doesn't justify schmurder. It doesn't justify continuing the con. It doesn't justify bullying and stalking, harassing people. It doesn't justify manipulating every single person
How far do you want to go with it?
that she comes in contact with. And I want to talk about Kate for a minute because I've not said a whole lot publicly about the situation with Kate. I have not publicly said anything on purpose because my thought process on it may not be of the best, most popular opinion, but I don't really care anymore. So I don't know a whole lot about Kate's story. I found Kate on TikTok. She came to me. I saw that her story was covered on Hidden True Crime YouTube channel, which I believe is a wonderful channel. I really like them. Dr. John and Laura do a wonderful job, especially with this case. They've done amazing work with this case. Okay, and so I saw her story. Do I know what the truthful story is? No. Do I think that things that she has said don't add up to me? 100%. And it makes me question because somebody did come to me the other day and said that she is lying about what was really wrong with her leg and that there was things really wrong with her leg and that is why it happened. Do I know one way or the other? No, I don't. And because of the nature of who she is and what she does and what she claims she had experienced, she has a propensity to be predisposed to lie and to manipulate and to do these things. And we have all seen Kate doing this. She cannot take anybody criticizing her or coming at her in any way sideways. She has to leave social media. She's pulled that at least 4 times since I have known her, and I've only known her since February or March. She has shut down her TikTok many times. First, she claimed that it was because Gypsy and her friends were bullying her. Then it was us. Then it was da-da-da. Then it was Thea. Then it was... this is something she's pulled over and over again. So am I supportive of Kate at this point? No, I'm not. And do I think that Gypsy has manipulated the situation for her own benefit and Kate has no realization of that? I do. Because Kate is susceptible to manipulation because she is a victim of MBP, if we believe that. Okay? So if you believe that, she is predisposed to be manipulated by people like that. That's what it does. Okay? It fucks up your brain. And so if she's being manipulated by Gypsy, for Gypsy to now be sanctioned by a real Munchausen by proxy survivor, I think that is very telling. The fact that she now says that they're friends after they supposedly went all over the internet saying horrible things about her and calling her Peggy Leggy and all of those things. And I did not start the rumor that she is the one, that they were the ones that called her that. I was told that. I don't watch Nina's lives. I don't watch Bree's lives. I don't watch any of that nonsense. So all I was told was that that's what they were saying. Have I seen proof? I don't know if we've seen proof. I honestly, I don't even know because I don't pay attention to it. But what I'm telling you, you've seen proof?
Yes.
Okay. Then then Mac admits she has seen proof that they were saying this. I have not seen personal proof of it, but that's not to say that it's not out there. So I truly believe that there is either they are working together, like I have said, that this is a 100% scam situation, that they worked the social media with Nina and others to run a long con again through social media. And that is 100% plausible. And I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying it is an option because Nina went on national television and lied about a penny freaking phobia, okay, for money. So if you think about this, they all are gaining and profiting right now from being in the middle of the drama. Not me. They are. They are all profiting and benefiting. Kate, Gypsy, Nina, all of them.
Yep.
So, could this be a larger scam? Yeah. Yeah. Or could it be Gypsy and Christy manipulating an actual MVP survivor to get their own freaking clout and be accepted into a community that will not accept her because they know she is not part of them? That could be true too. Hey, Emma, yeah, you can come up if you want. I'm going to open it up to questions and conversations about anything that we've covered tonight. Nothing about court cases or anything like that. Oh, somebody did ask about my court case. Did I feel like I was going to win? I already have. So it was dismissed, and it has not been reopened. I do not see the judge making any effort to reopen it. He was very clear on why it wasn't his problem, and that he did not want to participate in the Blanchard's bullcrap. So no, I don't think that I don't think there's anything else. If they want to take it to California, man, they ain't gonna have the same responses that they had in Missouri.
Bring it.
Right.
Yeah.
They tried to manipulate a system and it didn't work again. I don't believe that anyone else out there, toting the truth. You've got Nina who's now toting the truth and everything. They're not doing it because they care about the truth. They're doing it for views and for content. And every day that they make content about me and go on lives and talk about me proves that I am right.
Yep.
I don't talk about them. I don't go on lives and bash them. I don't go on lives and discuss their lives. I don't fucking care. But I'm calling it out as I see it, and they are all profiting from the drama that they are creating. That they are creating. No, I'm not a fan of Nina's at all. No. But I'm not going to sit here and just bash creators because that's not what I do.
No.
So I'd appreciate it if you guys would keep it, nice in the chat, please. We just don't talk about that stuff here.
Yes.
Okay. So,
It just is what it is.
it is what it is. I mean, I've called it out. I've said what I said. I said that I believe that Nina is controlled opposition, and I truly do believe that. That's it.
Yeah.
That's my stance. And I could be totally 100% wrong on that stance, but that is what I believe is happening. And that's what I think is what we're watching. But I mean, who knows? Who knows?
I know anything goes.
Nothing. I don't put past them anything at this point.
No, not a thing.
They were losing views before Nina started covering the story and creating the drama between them. It was not going well for anybody on that side. Nina was not gaining. They were not gaining. Kate was not gaining. They were not gaining anything. I was gaining followers, not money, followers. My story was getting out there. The truth of what I have to say was getting out there. And then they all banded together to try and attack me. And I don't care what their reasoning is. Maybe Nina just wants to be me. Maybe she wants to be the new me. Well, I'm sorry. I got news for you. There ain't another one like me.
There's only one fancy pants.
There's only one me.
That's right.
I'm the one who did the work. I'm the one that pushed the narrative. I'm the one that continued to keep making sure that we kept looking and questioning and asking and not accepting lies as truth. Me. And so anyone else that's out there using my work,
Okay.
my content, my work, all you're doing is knocking me off. I don't care. It's fine. I did the work. I know what I did.
That's right.
But I'd love the credit because it's just the right thing to do. I credit all of you when I use your content. So you should credit me for using mine. That's just it. It doesn't have to be about that. I'm not about the clout and the fame and all that shit. I just want to have my company. I want to make some fucking projects, and I want to talk about things that I want to talk about. I don't give a shit about any of the rest of that.
Right.
So anyway, so 3 years around them, I would call that the footwork. Exactly. I cover lots of other cases. In fact, Blue, if you check out our YouTube channel, we have tons and tons and tons and tons of other cases that we have covered. Also, if you check out the podcast right now, our second season is still up and available. It's the season that I'm more proud of. Emma, I know you're waiting. I'll get you up in just a second. It is the season that I'm more proud of. I feel like we came into our own in that season. I feel like we actually, did much better work in that season. And I feel like we were able to discuss cases that otherwise may not have been discussed the way they were discussed during the podcast and how we did it. So I'm very proud of all the other cases that we've covered. And yes, my intention is to cover tons of other cases going forward. We just need to finish off what we're doing here.
Right.
This is the final piece of my Gypsy Rose complete works. The book is the first step in putting it out there. The podcast was really the first, but this is the second step in that. It's our second project on this, and I want to finish this off. I want to tell the story. I have not touched on the Aubrey Wyatt case, but I did touch on it at the beginning of this live, and it is something that I intend to cover next week. Yeah. And Susan Smith, yeah, I've covered a lot. We've covered a lot. So you guys need to go watch our other content. I'm telling you, it's bar none. It is chef's kiss. It is amazing. It is so amazing. It is way better than anything we've ever done with Gypsy Rose. I mean, seriously. So let's let Emma come up. And if anybody else wants to come up, Mama Bear, you can come up too. Alrighty, guys. So thank you, Courtney Ray. Thank you.
Hey, Emma.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Fancy.
Oh, wait a minute. One second. Controversial opinion. Nina did show my podcast, and she did say that we were all working for a common goal of the truth. She is with you. Okay. I understand that is what she said today. And I understand and I appreciate that she showed it with no bias. I appreciate that she got it out there. And I do agree. We are working for the same goal, but I don't think we're all on the same team.
No. And a war apology is done for somebody's face.
Yeah.
So,
she's apologized to me for other things too. And then she's turned right around and, been real shitty to me about things that are untrue.
An apology, you say it to the person. You don't just.
Yeah. You don't just make a video about it. Exactly. Okay, Emma. Hey, you're up first, Mama Bear. You can talk. We'll let you talk afterwards. Okay.
I just want to say that you did an amazing job at the podcast. I'm so proud.
So awesome.
It's literally helped. I think it opened a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the Becca scoops came out the same week.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is big for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lots of people are opening their eyes. I'm really, really happy about it.
Yeah. Hey, Starlight.
I just hope this will all be over soon, because every day I look and I'm like, oh, there's not going to be drama. Then there's just it that starts.
Well, and that's why I'm shutting it down. I if I can stop it on my end, if I cannot participate and I can ask my team not to participate, not to watch the drama, I have told them, stop watching the people that talk shit about us, because none of their opinions matter, because they don't know us. So I don't want to waste time on that. We have time that we should be putting towards everything else. So
but you've been quiet for like a bit of time now, and I still see people talking about you. Like,
I know. I know.
Everyone knows what's up.
They did an 8-hour live. They did one 5-hour live and a 3-hour live the day after I appeared on an anti-bullying platform, because they didn't get to bully me on the anti-bullying platform. 5 hours. And then the next day they did another 3-hour live, all to boo-hoo that they could not bully me on that live. It didn't go the way they wanted it to go. And now I understand that apparently there has been someone that has passed. I know nothing about it. I don't know the woman. I did not know the woman when I appeared on her panel. I had never actually spoken to her from what I know. I spoke to her associate who asked me to be on there. And I guess that she is no longer with us.
Anti-bully.
I don't know. I don't know her. I don't even know her name. I don't know anything about her. All I know is that she tried to set me up and bully me and do all of this so she could hurt me. And she tried to do it all under the guise of being an anti-bullier. I don't think that that's okay. That's all I've got to say about it. All right, Mama Bear, what you got to say, babe?
I am so proud of you, Fancy. Oh my goodness, sometimes I go on people's lives and they say, well, she wasn't abused. Oh my gosh, I find myself getting so angry.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to put up my TikTok.
Yep.
And I feel good about referring people to listen to your videos or anything, because I didn't know how you would feel about it.
Yeah.
Because of what you've been going through.
Mm-hmm.
But now, if I have your permission, can I do that?
Yes, please. Please do. Okay. Share it. Please put it out there. Because, you know, ultimately the goal is to get the truth out to everyone. Whether they hear it or accept it or not is not my problem. You know?
Well, I just want to let you know I am so proud of you. I mean, looking at some of the videos I put out there, or even posts that I put out there.
Yeah.
And it's a video with me and my daughter talking, but we were using AI about the situation. And I said, there is so many creators out there that are trying to get the truth, but there's one that I don't want to bring out because she's having some problems right now. Right. Mm-hmm. You would have to listen to it.
Right.
But I'm getting a lot of views because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm letting you know, if I ever get things going, I'll refer them to you. Honey.
Thank you, sweetheart. Well, thank you for your... Thank you. Thank you. All right. If anybody else wants, Mom, I'm going to drop you down. If anyone else wants to come up, you guys are welcome to. Navatar, you know what you said here is Nina has a lot of info, which makes her interesting, but she can be ruthless, which I do not like. Well, here's my comment about this. Okay. And it's not to bash Nina in any way, shape, or form. I want to know what Nina's source is, because the person that I believe is Nina's source is not a reliable source. It is a source that has continuously for 9 years tried to cloud this, has protected the lies, has protected Christy Blanchard, has protected Gypsy, and has knowingly done it the entire time. And I believe that's Dawn Brown. She has done this to me the exact same way she's doing it to Nina. And I think that she is Nina's source. That is my opinion. I cannot say that I have proof of that, but based on what I know, based on conversations I've seen, based on the information that Nina has released, I believe it's Dawn Brown. And do I believe that Dawn Brown and Christy Blanchard are no longer friends? No, I don't. I don't believe it. Anybody?
You can't believe anybody anymore.
No.
With any of it.
I have mods, Tia. Yes, I have mods. We have mods.
In my opinion, if I was the Blanchards, I would not trust anybody. I don't understand why they keep telling people their business.
I don't either. I don't either. And that's the whole thing. Like, if you didn't want me to have any of this information, if you didn't want me to tell the truth, you should have never given it to me. I told you, I sat on your back porch and I told you exactly what my intention was. Good, bad, ugly. I wanted it all. And I told you I was going to get it all. And I even told them that I would know if they were lying. And I did. No, that is a different Bunny. That is a different Dawn. That is Dawn Boker, DeSalvi. And Brown wants us to make sure we don't get them mixed up. So if I talk about Boker or DeSalvi, it's Boker. I don't call her Dawn. It's Boker. Because that's how I make sure that everybody knows, because Dawn likes to put things onto the other one and pretend that she's the one who did those things when it was her and Christy and Gypsy putting Dawn up to putting Boker up to those things. And they do. They leak the info because they keeps it going. That's exactly it. 100%. 100%. Dawn Brown is Christy's henchman for the last 9 years. She met Christy's the same way I did on Facebook in a group. And she has for 9 years been, admittedly, her own words, Christy's bulldog. She goes in and cleans up all the messes that I don't clean up. That was part of my job too, was cleaning up the messes that Christy left everywhere. And when I told her I would no longer do it, I told Dawn the same thing. I'm done cleaning up Christy's messes. I'm done being that person. I will not do this for her anymore. And you know exactly what she's doing. And I can't believe that you're doing this. Like, I cannot believe that you, a person that you say you are, and the things that you say you do, which I don't believe any of her bullshit either, but then you should never have ever been on this side of these things. And you should never be doing the things that you're doing because it's supposedly against everything you stand for. So there's that. So yeah. It's a very twisted. What's Dawn's handle? Mama Dukes.
I've seen her on Nina's Lives
A lot. Tia, I don't take, I'm not going to take anybody up on the site over here, but if you do follow us, if we're on YouTube or on TikTok, you're able to do it there, but I won't let you guys up here because we've had problems in the past with a corn incident because they like to play fucking tricks. Yeah, she's Mama Dukes. Yes, Mama Dukes is Dawn Brown.
It's speculation. We don't know for sure if this is who the source is.
Right. I'm not saying, I'm just saying that's who I believe her source is. It's a high possibility. Do I think there's a couple others that Nina could be talking with? For sure. But if she is talking with Dawn Brown, then she is being controlled. If it's Dawn Brown or anyone close to the Blanchard family in any way, shape, or form, no, I have not. Any way, shape, or form, then they are being manipulated by the Blanchard family in some way, shape, or form. And so,
if I got pregnant and I only told a few people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna know one of those people is leaking that information. And I'm gonna find out who it is. Like, how could you not know?
Oh, hi, Tara. You're friends with my daughter. Thank you, Tara. Hi.
That's a shrimp.
What does she get out of being a bulldog for them? She got noticed, and she was important. That's what Dawn wants to be. She wants to be important. She goes around telling people that she trolls Facebook for schmetophiles and helps solve schmetophile cases. And I have this in writing. This is not me just making bullshit up. She swears that this is what she does. And that, when that happens, you pick a side and you go full force into that side and you never look back. And that's what she swears. That's what she swears she does as a living. I've never seen any proof of that. I think it's all bullshit. She just wants to be relevant, just like everybody else. And Christy made her relevant for 9 years. They made her feel special. And then they showed her the door, according to certain people. And she didn't quite like that. But she's still not said anything negative against them, which makes me believe that that's not true. Because she's got lots of truth that she could be telling about who these people are. And since she's not, I think she's still on payroll. Sorry, I do.
Nothing surprises me.
They supposedly ditched her. The story goes, if you hear, there's a couple stories. One of them is that Ryan came in and became the new Dawn Brown, and that all that happened. And Ryan swears that it was her that woke up her and Dawn Brown. Do I know if that's true or not? No. The fake PR Jasmine tells the story that basically Christy told all the online personalities that she wanted all of them to be her friends offline and not online, and that she no longer wanted Dawn to fight their battles and to go into any type of it's okay, Alejandra, it's okay. They told her that she could not go in and fight for them anymore, that they couldn't, that she should not be in any rooms saying anything about anything. And even, oh, hi, Rod. Is that the real Rod? If it's the real Rod, I would just love to ask you some questions, buddy, because I have lots of them for you that I didn't ask you when I sat on your back porch. Would you like to come up, Rod? I'd love to talk with you. I'm not being shitty. I really will be kind. I know it's not. But he has but I have seen this Rod Blanchard around, and he has been commenting lately, so I wonder.
And Dee Dee's ghost was just here too.
What?
Dee
You.
Blanchard account
For you.
comments
Yeah.
have me dead.
Oh, they've got me just rolling.
So I can give you a hug. Will you not be on camera?
I thought I had a fucked up mind. These people are like ruthless.
Okay, you're welcome, baby. So, yeah, no, they're ruthless. Come on, Rod. What I'd like to ask you, Rod, you know what? Since you're here, since Rod's here,
Just for shiggles.
can I ask you a question, Rod?
To be honest.
When were you aware of the chromosome disorder? That's my first question. We're over on TikTok too, guys, not just here. Okay. And then my second question is, Rod, do you approve of the way that your daughter and your wife are behaving at this time? Are you concerned for your grandchild if there is one? I'm just wondering, asking for a friend.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you scared your daughter's gonna give you the DD special?
Rod, what does that yes mean? You're worried that she's going to give you the DD special? Or you're worried that your daughter is out here doing horrible things and your wife is sanctioning it? I'd love, could you elaborate? I'd like you to elaborate. I mean, seriously, if you want to come up in the box, please do. Please. I'd love it.
He's a bait.
I love it. You're scared. You're scared.
Both, I'm scared.
Okay.
Too,
I would be too if I were you. I told you to be scared. In fact, I told Mia to be scared, and I told Christy to be scared. So, I mean, I don't know. Did you like Ryan better than Ken? I'd like to know. Did you actually like Ryan? Because it seemed like you did. It seemed like you did.
I don't know.
I mean, it seems like you liked him much better than you like Ken. I don't think that you were very fond of Ken in the first place. Good job, Rod. Thank you. I didn't think that you were very fond of Ken in the first place. Back when we were talking to Ken back in the day, you know, I don't think that you were very fond of him.
Gypsy Rose Blackberry.
I'm loving this. This is great.
Just panini press.
I'm not panini
Oh
press.
my God, Gypsy, can I know who the daddy is? Please, the math isn't mathing.
Look at this. See, we have a normal live. We have a great time. We pay an amazing fucking thing. And then what happens? Ken is gay and he's a douchebag, says Candace Scott. Candace, I agree with you. I agree with you. I called him a douchebag to his face. Well, not to his face. Through text messages, you know, but to his face. But you know.
When I can't join Ruby Rose, I'm actually gonna die.
Courtney Ray, you're right. Rod is awfully quiet sometimes, and why do I get the feeling he doesn't support the women around him sometimes? I get that feeling too. Okay. And I have expressed that to Rod in the past. When I found out that Christy Blanchard was the one who told Natasha that I cheated on my husband and contracted an STD, and that was completely 100% false, I went and I messaged Rod. I did. I sent him a message and I said, I don't think you understand what your wife and your child are out here doing. And I think that you should know these things, because I don't think that you would be very happy about it, because I don't think that Rod is happy about any of it. I think that's why his scenes with her are very forced. I think that he was never interested in being her father, and he doesn't want to be her father now, but his wife has roped him into this shit and now he's stuck. And I think Rod would have been just as happy to never have made a documentary, never talked about this, never did anything. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh crap! What did I do? Oh, damn it! Okay. Hold on. Emma got knocked down. So that's what I believe. You know, that's what I believe, and I don't think that he is happy with the way things are going. I also know that his son is not participating in this shit show for the same reason.
Right.
Yeah. My thoughts on Mia.
That hug that Christy gave Mike at the door, it was like an embrace. And you just see Rod standing back there. But man, she was like arms up over the shoulders, you know what I'm saying? And he's got arms around her waist, pulling her in. And they like embrace. I'm going, like, I was uncomfortable for Rod. What kind of shit is that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. So
he's gone for like months on end because he is like his job's on a boat. So like
yeah.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think Rod knows half of what goes on. I don't think he knows anything, and that's evident in the fact that he couldn't even be bothered to take off time to go to his daughter's parole hearing, in my opinion. You knew it was coming. You'd known about it for over a year. Why couldn't you have said, hey, I need this time off so I can go support my daughter? No. Instead, you sent your fucking wife like you always do, and you buried your head in the sand and pretended like nothing was happening. That's your whole shtick. Now, Mia, you guys asked me what I feel about Mia. That's a harder subject for me to talk about.
Mia could have had potential, but she's got to get away from them. That's how I feel.
I mean, okay, I know like we don't like Nina, but this I really like it. It got me thinking, and I think she's right on this. Mm-hmm. She said that it could ruin Mia's job potential because she's going to be a nurse, which I find is true. Mm-hmm. Because why would you want someone that killed their mom's sister, right? You know what I mean? As your nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying if she got away from them, I think she would be able to do a lot better. I really, really do.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see it happening.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I had high hopes for Mia. I did. I've known Mia since she was 15 years old. I met her when she was young, I think she was 14 when I met her. I think that's the age she was. I know she was 13 when it happened, and I think 14 or 15 when I met her. And I thought she was a good kid with a good head on her shoulders. I think that if this had not happened, then yeah, she would have lived a normal life and been a normal person. And I don't think she'd participate in the scamming and the hype and all of that. I don't think she would have done that. But based on who she is and who her family is and what they've done in the last 8 years, I believe that she has no way to escape it.
Yeah,
they have made her part of it. And the first time she did an interview with the Reels channel, I knew that was going to happen, and I was really, really worried about it. And when I was with them, part of my whole thing was protecting Mia. Anytime anybody mentioned Mia or talked about Mia, I would jump on them and say that she has no right. You have no right to be criticizing Mia or talking about Mia. She is an innocent child in all of this, and she did not ask to be included in this fuckery. But she is an adult now, and she has involved herself in the fuckery. And I saw it when she started going to nursing school, and she posted all these videos of her falling down drunk. And, she's like, I'm trying to see if I'm photogenic. And it's a freaking thing of her doing a bong, like this is, we're not looking at good people here. She obviously has not been guided well, and she's getting mean like her mother. Exactly. That's exactly it. Yep. So, but she's been a bit brainwashed, and I think that if she could walk away from the family, I'm hoping that maybe the husband that she's getting, engaged to, and the man that she's going to marry will take her away from this, and get her out of all this. But I don't think so. It's sad. It's really sad.
She's really close to Christy, so
Yeah. She's very close to Christy because she had to be. She had no dad. Let's be honest. While she may be daddy's little girl, how often was he home? Not very.
it's sad. It's actually sad.
It's very sad.
These fishermen, they're not home a lot. No.
No. Yep. Rod and Christy were in on the con years ago. Miriam, I don't know. I have suspicions. I do believe.
Definitely saw her more than they've said they have.
I agree with that. I also believe that they knew about her being sick. I also think that they knew that Dee Dee was conning, and I think they just looked the other way. I think that they looked the other way. I just think that it was out of sight, out of mind. They didn't have to deal with the sick kid. They didn't have to deal with Dee Dee. They didn't have to deal with any of that. And that was what they just buried. Like I said, Rod's an ostrich. He buries his head in the sand and pretends things aren't happening. And I truly believe that's the way that family works.
And think he's done this before with his other kid. He doesn't see his other.
Yes, and somebody asked about that. He has 4 children, not 3, 4. He has Gypsy as his oldest. That's with Dee Dee. He has Nicolette, which was with Jill, and she gave birth 6 months after Dee Dee gave birth to Gypsy.
Oh my God.
Then he has Dylan, who is his and Christy's oldest son, who I believe is 3 years younger than Gypsy. And then there is Mia, who is 10 years younger than Gypsy. And that's the 4 we know about. Could there be more? For sure.
He was laying
6 months.
Yep.
Rod was laying the pipe.
But how do you sign over your rights but see your other 3 children?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you even do that?
Yeah. And Christy sanctioned that too. That was all Christy. Marty, okay, so Jill came to Rod when Nicolette was 8 years old and said, "You've not been in her life. You've not been supporting her. Marty has. My husband has. And he wants to adopt her." And he, with the encouragement of Christy, signed over the rights to Marty to be her father and have nothing to do with Nicolette. I understand that many men do this. I understand that this happens, but the fact of the matter is that Christy is the one who admitted that she told him it would be the best birthday gift that he could give her was the gift of a father that was in her life. Why couldn't he be the father in her life?
That's fucked.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
No, like, I don't. That's just so messed up in so many levels.
Yep. And so for her 8th birthday, that's what he did. He gave her away and let Marty adopt her. And I guess that's probably the best thing that could have happened to her. But, I mean, you have to think about the people that were choosing to do this the way they're doing it.
Oh yeah, the prayer.
No one knew Gypsy even was a thing.
And didn't somebody tell Rod that Dee Dee was making her do that she could actually walk? Didn't somebody tell him that?
Yeah, the sisters.
That's right.
Dorla and Claudia. Yeah,
Okay.
Dorla and Claudia. And somebody asked me about that earlier. Does Darla and Claudia and the siblings still have the same opinions? They said that Gypsy was a cold-blooded killer. Yes, they have the same opinions. It's gotten worse. I have more communication that I've seen between them and Gypsy since Gypsy has been out, and I think it's horrible. I also told Darla that I think that they should sue her for wrongful death, because that's what Rod Goldman and Nicole Brown's family did with O.J. Simpson, and they won. And it doesn't matter. It's not the same burden of proof. It doesn't matter. They could do it, and they could stop her from being able to make any of the money, and they don't. They don't. I told them this. I told them how they could stop her from profiting off their sister's death. They don't. So I don't know. I think the whole family is paid off at this point.
Just the fact that you wouldn't even question it. Even if somebody threw that my way, I would be like, okay, let me check this out, you know?
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think that's as much as I have for tonight. Thank you all for, coming and dishing this with us. Like I said, our time with Gypsy publicly is coming to an end here. We will cover things as we feel we need to. But I just don't feel the need to cover this chapter in her life. I don't want to cover it. Will I talk about the baby? Yes. Will I be concerned for the baby? Of course. If there is a baby. But I don't care about any of the mess that they're in currently. And what my goal is I wanted to know the truth of this case. I wanted to show exactly what happened and why this happened. And I feel like I'm doing that properly. And I don't need to talk about her every day on a daily basis. Everyone else does that.
Yeah, enough people are doing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, I think.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Emma.
Yes, Emma.
No problem.
And I'm really proud of you. I'm really, really proud of you.
Me too.
Thank you. Yes, Courtney, 4. There are 4 children. 4. Yep. So, all right. So thank you guys so much. And thank you for tuning in and dishing true crime with the Good Wives. You can find us on all social media at Good Wives Net. You can find us on TikTok at Good Wives Net 2. You can follow us on our website at thegoodwivesnetwork.com to hear all about what we're doing. Check out our blog, our other content creators, other content, and you can order our book with an autographed copy from myself. Our book will be out on the 26th. It will be available on Amazon originally, and then we're hoping that we will be able to get it out onto like Barnes & Noble and a couple other places once we get it out with Amazon. So you guys can peruse that. We've worked really hard on this. I'm very proud of Amy and the editing that she's done and helping us to really take a critical look at what we did 5 years ago and where we're at today. So I really want to thank you for that, Amy. It's
my pleasure.
It's been amazing, like working with you on this and doing this.
It.
It will be both an ebook and a physical book. Now, the physical book, I'm going to let you know, is going to have more content in it than the ebook. The ebook is not going to have all the extra content. It won't have all the bonus content. It's not going to have all the pictures and everything. I don't want to do all that in that. It's too hard to format it for me. So I'm just going to do it for the paperback, and the hardback book will even have more stuff in it when it comes out later this year.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. The title is The Companion to The Good Wives Guide to True Crime, Season 1, The Murder of Dee Dee Blanchard. Just look up The Companion to The Good Wives Guide to True Crime. You'll find it. And it's linked on all of our platforms, so you can find that as well. I thank you guys for, tuning in and coming here and talking with us. And I hope that next week we will be able to talk with you about many, many other things instead of just this. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And thank you so much for coming. Amy, you want to sign off real quick?
Yes, appreciate everybody being here. It was a great live.
All righty. Well, have a good one from the Good Wives, serving up true crime, one dish at a time. Bye, guys. So let me go up here and turn this one off. Got it? All righty. And then over here, thank you so very much, guys, for tuning in. Have a good one. Bye.